Well, I hope everybody has had a terrific day and is ready for some Blue Crabs playoff baseball. They've had 131 games of regular season ball. They're all in the books. The Blue Crabs will finish with 84 wins after they pick up a win because the Blue Crabs and Barnstormers did not play that final game of the season. So 84 wins and 48 losses is the final record for the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs, as we are just about 15 minutes away from the first pitch in the North Division Championship Series, as Daryl Thompson will get the ball for the Blue Crabs and Oscar De La Cruz will get the start for the Lancaster Barnstormers. Well, the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs will run through their Game 1 lineup. It's Jack Sundberg who gets things started in left. Michael Wolanski bats second. He's at second base. Zach Collier will bat third. He is the center fielder, while David Harris is the designated hitter. He bats fourth. Joe DeLuca, he's back in the 5 spot. He's at first base, while Santiago Chirino is in the 6 spot. He is at third base. Jared Walker bats 7th. He's in right field. Ryan Haug, the catcher, had a 3-for-4 day last time out. He bats 8th. And closing out the lineup, it's the shortstop. It's Michael Baca, who bats 9th. Now we'll take you around the diamond defensively. For the Lancaster Barnstormers, it's Chris Proctor in left. Ariel Sandoval is in center, while Shawan Dunston Jr. is in right field. Trace Lair at third base. Jake Hoover is at shortstop, while Melvin Mercedes is the second baseman. Andretti Cordero is at first, while Anthony Peroni is doing the catching for Oscar De La Cruz. Let's give you the Blue Crabs defensive alignment along with the Lancaster Barnstormers starting lineup, as it's Shawan Dunston who will get things going for the Lancaster Barnstormers in the bottom of the first. Melvin Mercedes will bat second, Andretti Cordero in the 3 spot, while Trayvon Robinson bats fourth. Ariel Sandoval is the 5-hitter, while Chris Proctor bats 6th, Anthony Peroni bats 7th, and Jake Hoover bats 8th. Trace Lair will close out the lineup. Now around the diamond defensively for the Blue Crabs. Sundberg in left, Collier in center, Walker is in right. Chirino at third base, Baca at shortstop, Michael Wolanski's the second baseman, while Joe DeLuca is at first. Ryan Haug is doing the catching for Daryl Thompson. The pitching matchup today, Daryl Thompson, who has a 15-4 record, a 3.43 ERA. He goes up against Oscar De La Cruz, the righty, who has a 9-3 record and a 4.26 earned run average. We had a chance to catch up with the Blue Crabs manager today before the show. Daryl Thompson had a lot to say across the course of the season and the Blue Crabs and their hopes for the postseason. So without further ado, here was our conversation with Blue Crabs manager Stan Clyburn. Well, the Blue Crabs have played 131 regular season games. They're all in the books, and they've got a few more left in them as they take on the Lancaster Barnstormers for Game 1 of the North Division Championship Series. Austin Rooney, and I'm joined by the Blue Crabs manager Stan Clyburn. Stan, thanks for joining us today.
Austin, thanks for having me on. And, yeah, that's what you play for, 131 games, as you mentioned. And, you know, it all goes down to 6 wins. You know, it's amazing the run we've had this year with, 48 and 18 to 727 winning percentage, which set a league-wide record for winning percentage. And then, of course, the 83 wins that set the franchise record that broke the 2010 Butch Hobson managed club. They had 182 that year. So that was a big accomplishment for the team. But, hey, that's over with. Now it's playoff baseball. There's two series in front of you. Got to get first 3 out of 5 here in Lancaster, 2 here, and then 3 at our place. And then you got 3 in the North Division and 3 in the South Division. Best 3 out of 5 there. So it's down to 6 games. You know, you take all those records. They're good to have. But this is what you play for, playoff baseball, and here we are.
So what differentiates regular season baseball from postseason baseball?
Well, I think, I think everything's magnified. I think every pitch the batter here, I touched on this yesterday on our team meeting, that every pitch you see will be to the point where it's, it should be blown up in your mind and your eyes a lot bigger than it is during the regular season. Now, that is a mental thing. Technically, it can't be done, but it's pitch by pitch, inning by inning, out by out, it's all magnified, and that's the way you got to approach it. I can look back as a lot of years as a player, Fortunate to be on 8 championship teams and playing in those 8 championship wins. That's the feeling I got. Everything was magnified, just like a World Series is in the major leagues, or division championships in the major leagues. You know, the intensity's there. The air is full of tense pressure, and that's the way it ought to be. So, you know, you look back and reflect on your season, which I did yesterday, the guys, the numbers on paper, and they're all very good accomplishments and goals. But the ultimate satisfaction is winning a championship, winning a ring, and that's why we're here to play.
You talk about your 8 championships. Do you see in this team what you saw in those 8 championship teams?
Well, actually, you know, those 8 as a player, Austin, the 6 as a manager, so that's 14. And I look at all 14. We wasn't always the best team in those 14 championships. Our talent was good, no doubt, or we wouldn't have been there, but we were not always what I thought the superior team going into those championship series, but we prevailed because we have a lot of what this team has, and that's character. We got a lot of closeness in the clubhouse, real good camaraderie with all the guys. They're like a big family, and they have been all year. We've had very little brush fires this year, and everything's very, very, very positive. It has been all year, all the way from the clubhouse to the front office to ownership. It's all been positive, and that's what it takes to get to a postseason, and we've done that. Now it's just icing on the cake when you finish it off. And again, those years were great. I have been on the losing side of 14 or maybe 15 times to go into to win a championship. Don't want to get greedy, but that's a 500 record out of 50 years. It's, you know, playoff baseball, 30 of those years. So, you know, it's a lot of fun. Here it is again in the Atlantic League, which is just as good as league as any in all of minor league baseball. And it's going to be a good baseball, good series. I know it's going to be great fan support from our guys. We've got a big bus coming up from Southern Maryland tonight. So, hey, looking forward to it, and let's have some fun.
Stan, I do have to ask you about this last series the Blue Crabs had. We're not swept across the first 128 games of the year. Swept in the final series. You're playing those same Barnstormers. How do you prevent that from leading into the postseason here?
Well, you know, people don't understand. We had played them 11 times coming into that last series at our place. We had beat them 11 times, 11 out of 11. 12th game was here, and we got rained out after hitting 2 home runs in the first inning.
Right.
So the momentum was definitely on our side. Now, they came to us. We left here that rain up. They had a better team, and I saw that in their bullpen. And they came down to our place, and they shut us out once. Darryl shut them out, and they won an extra inning. So that was a good series. They beat us 2 out of 3. And then this last series here, you know, it was just me not letting all the cards be shown. Right. From a manager, you want to play to win, no doubt, every game. They'd already clinched the second half, so the games really didn't mean nothing in the standings. But momentum is a big thing to be said about this game. I always touch on you can't flip the white light switch on and off. You got to keep that light switch on in baseball. I don't think our light switch got clicked off. I just think they went out and dominated us. They struck us out over 30 times in 3 games, and we scored 3 runs. I challenged them yesterday. You're going to see the fastball. These guys on this Lancaster thing think they can throw the fastball right by us. And that's what you do as a ball player anyway. You hit off the fastball. So I challenge the guys. Those 3 days are over, just like the whole season's over. It's fresh start today, and this is playoff baseball, and this is what we come to do.
Well, Stan, let's jump into this series. Blue Crabs go with Darryl Thompson in Game 1. What's the expectation out of your ace?
Well, what he always does, go out there and beat Darryl. You know, our team always seems to, when he's pitching, I don't know, there's a little air about us when he pitches. It's amazing what I've seen in him the years he's pitched for me all the way since 2015. You know, his win-loss record in those 7 years is tremendous. He's the all-time leader in wins in this league and all kinds of individual records. But, you know, that happens because players elevate their game behind him. The defense elevates their game behind him. We seem to always score runs for him when, say, if he comes out of the game in the 7th inning, he's down a run. We always seem to either get him a win or get him off the hook. So, you know, we look for the same Darryl out there to go out there and dominate, pitch his game, and be smart at what he does. And he knows how to do that with the best of them. And I'm looking for a big game out of him tonight.
Well, we talk about Darryl Thompson. Let's talk a little bit more about this pitching staff. If you look at the numbers from the regular season, the bullpen was terrific. The starting pitching for the Blue Crabs had the best ERA in the league. Do you think it's going to have to be the pitching that leads the way in this series?
Well, you got to score runs. You got to score runs to win games. And I know this team over here, they played 2 games less than us in their home winning percentage. I think they won 44 games here at home. We won 46 at home. And they play good here. They swing the bats good here. But pitching and defense wins games. You find a way to get the runners in scoring position. You find a way to knock them in. They get to 2-out hits. We have done well all year in 2-out base hits with runners in scoring position. So the numbers are there. It's just us to go out and execute, not overanalyze the stat page, but go out and play the game. Relax. Take your percentages and do what you know to do. And, that's baseball. Their team over there, again, has gotten better. We are beat up a little bit with Braxton Lee out. That's going to hurt. Alex Crosby's over playing in Germany with Great Britain. We're going to miss him for the first 2 games.
For tonight's game, presented by the Lancaster City Mounted Unit. And we remind you to please wait until the colors have left the field to be seated. And now, please remain standing for the presentation of God Bless America, performed by Grace Bond. Here to perform our, please welcome Deb Tyson.
just about ready to go on a terrific evening for baseball. It's Tuesday night, it's game one, it's the Blue Crabs, it's the Barnstormers. Live from Clipper Magazine Stadium, Austin Rooney couldn't be happier to be with you for this evening's ball game. The Blue Crabs have to put the last 3 games in the books and move on as they mustered just 3 runs on 11 hits against this very same Lancaster Barnstormers team on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But it's a new series, it's a new season, and the Blue Crabs look to turn the page and move on to the championship series next week. But they've got to win 3 games, and they'll send Daryl Thompson to the hill for game 1. But first, it's the bats that will come to the plate as they face off against Oscar De La Cruz, who comes into this one with a 9-3 record, a 4.26 earned run average, and it's Jack Sundberg who will get things going against the righty. It's Sundberg followed by Michael Wolanski and Zach Collier, 1, 2, and 3 in the lineup. Then it's time for David Harris, followed by Joe DeLuca, Santiago Chirino, and Jared Walker. Ryan Haug bats 8th. It's Michael Baca in the 9th spot. Around the diamond for the Barnstormers, Chris Proctor in left, Ariel Sandoval is in center, Shawan Dunston in right. It's Trace Lair at third base, Jake Hoover is the shortstop, Melvin Mercedes at second base, and Andretti Cordero at first. Anthony Peroni will do the catching for Oscar De La Cruz. It is the Barnstormers in their home white jerseys, Stormers across the chest with the red socks and the red hat. The Blue Crabs in their black robes with the white lettering and the gray pants. We are ready to go. It's what those first 131 games were all for, to get here to the playoffs. And Jack Sundberg is about to get us going. Oscar De La Cruz points his glove over to first base to Andretti Cordero. He's ready. Sundberg steps in. He's ready. The home plate umpire, Buzz Albert, he's ready, and we are ready to go. First pitch to Sundberg is in there for a called strike, and the count 0-1. Oscar De La Cruz went 5 innings last time, 5 hits, 4 runs. Pitch, swing and a miss, 93 on the fastball, and it got Jack Sundberg to swing and miss at the pitch in the count. No balls and 2 strikes now on the lefty. Sundberg finished the year with a 246 batting average. But all those numbers reset here for the playoffs. 0-2 offering. Swinging a high fly ball left field. Chris Proctor now drifts back. He's in front of the warning track, reaches up and makes the catch. And there's one away in the top of the first in game 1 of this series. And it's Michael Wolanski who will dig in for the Blue Crabs. Wolanski, the righty. He'll be at second base defensively. We've seen some terrific plays from him throughout the course of the season. He's a strong defensive second baseman and a terrific bat in the lineup. And the first pitch is a called strike on the outer half of the count 0-1. One of the things that Blue Crabs manager Stan Clyburn stressed in our pregame show was they struck out too much in that 3-game set. 0-1 pitch, up and in the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. At least from Jack Sundberg there in that first at bat, he goes the other way, does fly out, but the Blue Crabs really need to avoid strikeouts if they're going to look to take this series, as the pitch is inside. It clipped Wolanski on the elbow, and he gets first base via a hit by pitch, and there's a runner on first with 1 out. It brings up Zach Collier. The Blue Crabs really still in search of who that number 3 hitter is going to be. It's not exactly where the Blue Crabs would like to be at this point in the playoffs, still searching for a 3 hitter. But it's the spot they find themselves in because the Blue Crabs 3 hitter across the last month and a half, Braxton Lee, has been out. The Blue Crabs went to Jared Walker in the last series against Lancaster after a very strong performance against Long Island. but he didn't produce all that well in this last series. So now the move to Collier. First pitch, swing and a miss. A little bit low and out of the zone, and the count 0-1. No balls, 1 strike, 1 out, no score from Clipper Magazine Stadium in the top of the first inning with Michael Wolanski on first base. It's the playoffs. It's game 1 as De La Cruz comes set. 0-1 pitch, line drive, foul back behind home plate. Count 0-2 on Collier. Well, Zach Collier has a 9-game on-base streak to his name. Last series was 1 for 6 with a walk, was 12 for 39, a touch over 300 across the road trip. 0-2 pitch, up and away, count 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Couldn't be happier to have you with us as we're going to run through a couple of our comments in the YouTube chat when we get a chance, and welcome in all of our viewers tonight. 1-2 pitch, swinging a foul ball back behind home plate. Count remains 1-2. Luis Montgomery, happy to have you with us, watching from Southern Maryland. Blazer Bobcat is watching and listening from Albany, Georgia, and Tammy Shipley watching from Ohio. Wish I was at the game. Go Blue Crabs. A solid contingent of Blue Crabs fans over the third base dugout, and what is a packed crowd for a Tuesday night in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Oscar De La Cruz was ready, but Collier is going to step out before digging back in. Runner on first base. It's Michael Wolanski, who's on after getting hit by a pitch. 1 out. No score, top of the first inning. Pitch, up and away, count 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, top of the first inning on Zach Collier. He'll be followed by David Harris, who finished the year as the Blue Crabs leader in batting average, 2nd in home runs behind Jared Walker. And the 2-2 pitch. Called strike 3. Buzz Albert rings up Zach Collier. They're 2 away. A fastball on the outer half, and he gets a strikeout. And there are 2 away. Oscar De La Cruz, so far 12 pitches, 8 strikes, has been pounding the strike zone. And it brings up David Harris. You mentioned David Harris leading this team in a number of categories. 322 hitter, 392 on base percentage, and by far and away the top slugging percentage at 530. A 922 OPS. Pitch called strike. That's right down the middle, and the count 0-1 on David Harris. Wolanski on first base. He had 6 stolen bases across the course of the season. But with 2 outs and him standing on first base, I could see him going in a position like this. 0-1 pitch, a little away, and the count 1-1. Could be a momentum changer. Should you get your guy on first to steal second, put him in scoring position with 2 outs for David Harris, who again leads this team in batting average and slugging percentage and OPS. And the toss over to first from Oscar De La Cruz, and Wolanski dives in safely. Wolanski has taken that number 2 spot in the Blue Crabs lineup and run with it since joining the Blue Crabs at the end of May. Has been an integral piece to this lineup. Pitch, line drive, first base side, foul, count 1-2. The Blue Crabs mustered 11 hits across the first 3 games of that series, or the 3 games in that series against Lancaster over the weekend. They had 4 hits on Friday, 2 hits on Saturday, and 5 hits on Sunday. Mustered just 3 runs in that 3-game set. And the pitch, runner goes, pitches upstairs, throw down a second from his knees, not in time. Anthony Peroni, a rather strong throw despite the fact that he threw from his knees. And Wolanski does steal second base, so a runner in scoring position with 2 outs. And again, Wolanski not a guy that steals all that many bases. He was 6 for 6 in the regular season. He's 1 for 1 in the postseason. De La Cruz gets a sign from his catcher, Anthony Peroni. Count 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Pitch to Harris. Fastball, little low and away. Count 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs with a runner on second base. No score in the top of the first inning between Southern Maryland and Lancaster in Game 1 of the North Division Championship Series. Joe DeLuca, the switch-hitting catcher, will bat from the left side. He's on deck. 3-2 pitch. Swinging a line drive, right field, long run for Shawan Dunston, and he makes the catch in fair territory down the right field line to end the top of the first inning. That one very nearly fell in for a base hit. Probably would have been extra bases, definitely would have scored a run, but instead the top of the first inning ends with the Blue Crabs scoring none. They strand one at the end of the top of the first. It's the Blue Crabs nothing. It's the Lancaster Barnstormers coming to bat when we come back on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
All you crazy playoff fans, you gotta help her out. We gotta figure this thing out.
Well, the Blue Crabs have played 131 regular season games. They're all in the books, and they've got a few more left in them as they take on the Lancaster Barnstormers for Game 1 of the North Division Championship Series. Austin Rooney, and I'm joined by the Blue Crabs manager, Stan Clyburn. Stan, thanks for joining us today.
Austin, thanks for having me on. And, yeah, that's what you play for, 131 games, as you mentioned. And, you know, it all goes down to 6 wins. You know, it's amazing the run we've had this year with 48 and 18, the 727 winning percentage would set a league-wide record for winning percentage, and then, of course, the 83 wins that set the franchise record that broke the 2010 Butch Hobson managed club. They had 182 that year, so that was a big accomplishment for the team. But, hey, that's over with. Now it's playoff baseball. There's two series in front of you. Got to get first 3 out of 5 here in Lancaster, 2 here, and then 3 at our place. And then you got 3 in the North Division and 3 in the South Division. Best 3 out of 5 there. So it's down to 6 games. You know, you take all those records, they're good to have, but this is what you play for, playoff baseball, and here we are.
So what differentiates regular season baseball from postseason baseball?
Well, I think, I think everything's magnified. I think every pitch, the batter here, I touched on this yesterday on our team meeting, that every pitch you see will be to the point where it's, it should be blown up in your mind and your eyes a lot bigger than it is during the regular season. Now, that is a mental thing. Technically, it can't be done, but it's
In the top of the first inning, the Blue Crabs had a base runner and a stolen base, but they stranded their lone base runner on second base. That was Jack Sundberg. Or I beg your pardon, that was Michael Wolanski. Either way, no score as we go to the bottom of the first. The first pitch is in there for a called strike on the Lancaster Barnstormers leadoff hitter, Shawan Dunston Jr. Let's run you through the Barnstormers starting lineup along with the defensive alignment for the Blue Crabs. It's Shawan Dunston Jr., the leadoff hitter, followed by Melvin Mercedes, who bats second, and Andretti Cordero in the 3 spot, and Trayvon Robinson is the cleanup hitter. Pitch called strike, and the count 0-2 now on Shawan Dunston Jr. It's Darryl Thompson, the Blue Crabs pitcher tonight, and we'll run you through all the numbers on Thompson in just a couple of moments. So you mentioned Trayvon Robinson is the cleanup hitter, batting 5th. It's Ariel Sandoval. Chris Proctor bats 6th. The 0-2 pitch now. Swinging a line drive, well struck to right. It sends Walker back. He's in front of the warning track where he makes the catch, and there's one away. So let's run back through this lineup. Dunston, who just flied out to right, he bats first. Melvin Mercedes, then it's Andretti Cordero. Trayvon Robinson in the cleanup spot. Ariel Sandoval bats 5th. Chris Proctor bats 6th. It's Anthony Peroni, who's doing the catching, who bats 7th. Jake Hoover bats 8th, and Trey Slair bats 9th for the Lancaster Barnstormers. Around the diamond for the Blue Crabs, Jack Sundberg in left, Zach Collier in center. It's Jared Walker in right field. In the infield, Santiago Chirino at third base, and the first pitch is a little bit up and away for ball one on Melvin Mercedes. Michael Baca is the shortstop. Michael Wolanski is at second base, while Joe DeLuca is at first. Ryan Haug does the catching for Darrell Thompson. 1-0 pitch. Slow in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Last time out for Darrell Thompson was against the Long Island Ducks. 6 innings, 1 run, 8 hits. Pitch called strike in the count, 2 balls and 1 strike. Thompson picked up his 15th win of the year. He walked 1, he struck out just 2. And the 2-1 pitch. On the ground, foul territory, first base side, in the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, Thompson, a 15-4 record, a 3.43 earned run average. That is the league leader in ERA among qualifiers. 2-2 pitch from Darrell Thompson. Swinging a high fly ball, well struck left center. It's Collier who floats back to left center field in front of the fast sign. And there are 2 away as he makes the catch right around chest high for the second out. Here comes Andretti Cordero. After a fly out to right, a fly out to center, and it's Cordero who digs in from the right side. Cordero will be followed by Robinson. There are calls to make Andretti Cordero the Atlantic League Player of the Year. He's had that strong of a regular season. First pitch called strike, and the count 0-1 on Andretti Cordero. Cordero on a 7-game hit streak where he is 15 for 27. And the pitch a little away, and the count 1-1 was 6 for 12 in this most recent series against the Blue Crabs. He's not alone in that, though. You look at guys like Jacob Barfield, who was 4 for 9. Joseph Carpenter, 6 for 11. Pitch on the ground over to third base, fielded by Santiago Chirino. The throw to first in plenty of time to get Andretti Cordero. Darrell Thompson goes out there and throws a 1-2-3 bottom of the first inning. We're done with 1. The Blue Crabs nothing. It's the Barnstormers nothing. We go to the top of the second on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Inning by inning, out by out, it's all magnified, and that's the way you got to approach it. I can look back as a lot of years as a player, fortunate enough to be on 8 championship teams and playing in those 8 championship wins. That's the feeling I got. Everything was magnified, just like a World Series is in the major leagues, or division championships in the major leagues. You know, the intensity's there. The air is full of tense pressure, and that's the way it ought to be. So, you know, you look back and reflect on your season, which I did yesterday, the guys, the numbers on paper, and they're all very good accomplishments and goals. But the ultimate satisfaction is winning a championship, winning a ring, and that's why we're here to play.
You talk about your 8 championships. Do you see in this team what you saw in those 8 championship teams?
Well, actually, you know, those 8 as a player, Austin, the 6 as a manager, so that's 14. And I look at all 14. We wasn't always the best team in those 14 championships. Our talent was good, no doubt, or we wouldn't have been there, but we were not always what I thought the superior team going into those championship series, but we prevailed because we have a lot of what this team has, and that's character. We got a lot of closeness in the clubhouse, real good camaraderie with all the guys. They're like a big family, and they have been all year. We've had very little brush fires this year, and everything's very, very, very positive. It has been all year, all the way from the clubhouse to the front office to ownership. It's all been positive, and that's what it takes to get to a postseason, and we've done that. Now it's just icing on the cake when you finish it off. And, again, those years were great. I have been on the losing side of 14 or maybe 15 times.
Well, it's Joe DeLuca who will get us started in the top of the second inning in a scoreless ball game. DeLuca will be followed by Chirino and Walker. A couple of other comments from our YouTube chat. Billy Wilkins says he's watching from Baltimore, Maryland. Let's go Blue Crabs. JD West says Haug House in attendance from La Plata. Pitch, line drive into right field for a base hit. And Joe DeLuca with a line drive single to right to get us started in the top of the second inning. It's the first Blue Crabs hit of the day. And Joe DeLuca makes it count here to get things going in the postseason. First hit from either side. It's Santiago Chirino who looks down at the third base coach, Ray Ortega, to get his sign. Chirino, the third baseman, he's going to have some competition come Friday night as Alex Crosby will be back with the Blue Crabs. He had the walk-off sacrifice fly to send Great Britain to the World Baseball Classic earlier today, as the first pitch is a called strike and the count 0-1. A terrific run through European pool play as the 0-1 pitch popped up foul right field side. In the double elimination bracket, it was Great Britain who went 3-0 with wins over France, Germany, and that final win over Spain, despite the fact they trailed 9-3, came all the way back and won 10-9. 0-2 pitch to Chirino, up and in the count 1-2 on the righty. Count 1-2 strikes. DeLuca on first, nobody out. Oscar De La Cruz, the 1-2. Swinging a line drive, right field side, that one tailing foul. And the count remains 1-2. 1-2 strikes, nobody out. In front of a rather packed crowd here in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, the home of the Barnstormers. It's game 1 out of 3. The Blue Crabs. And the pitch, that's outside, count 2-2. I beg your pardon, game 1 out of a potential 3 out of 5 game series. The Blue Crabs will go home on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday after starting on the road here on Tuesday and Wednesday. DeLuca off first base. Oscar De La Cruz. His 2-2 offering. Swinging a ground ball foul, first base side, and a very long at bat from Santiago Chirino, who has fought off the 6th pitch of the at bat. This will be number 7 incoming on the righty. One on, nobody out. Santiago Chirino, known for his ability to fight off strike 3. Pitch popped up toward right field. It's Shawan Dunston who drifts in. He's got it and makes the catch shoulder high for the first out. Oh, one away in the top of the second inning as Jared Walker will come to the plate. Walker led the Blue Crabs in home runs across the regular season. Had a big opening weekend against Lexington. Had the Blue Crabs lead for the most home runs from the opening series and the rest of the way. There were a couple of times David Harris had tied him, but he would always very quickly take that lead back. 17 home runs from Jared Walker, posted a .236 batting average. Pitch, swing and a miss, and the count 0-1. Walker finishes with an .804 OPS, a .376 on base, and a .428 slugging percentage. 1 out, 1 on. Pitch, wave and a miss, count 0-2. Across the month of September, Jared Walker hit .255 with 2 home runs across 11 ball games. You're hard-pressed to find a Blue Crab who really found success across this month of September, where the Blue Crabs team finished 6-10. And the 0-2 pitch, a little low and away. Count 1-2 now on Jared Walker. And even some of your most consistent hitters like David Harris were not hitting 300 across the month of September. It was Santiago Chirino who had the best batting average at 368 in his limited sample size. 1-2 pitch, a 94-mile-per-hour fastball, and Walker swings through it for the second out. So after the leadoff single from Joe DeLuca, a fly out to right from Santiago Chirino, and a strikeout swinging from Jared Walker. And here comes Ryan Haug. He'll be followed by Michael Baca if necessary here in the top of the second inning. Oscar De La Cruz has topped out at 95.1 miles per hour with the fastball. Very consistent from 94.9 to 95.1. Pitch fouled off first base side. And the count, no balls and one strike. North Division Championship, Game 1 between the Blue Crabs and the Barnstormers. We appreciate everybody joining us on a Tuesday night. Pitch, swinging a high fly ball, center field, more or less straight away for Ariel Sandoval, who now backpedals. He's in front of the warning track and makes the catch head high for the final out. Well, the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs picked up a hit in the top of the second inning, a leadoff single from Joe DeLuca, but that was all the Blue Crabs mustered. At the end of an inning and a half, it's the Blue Crabs nothing, it's the Barnstormers nothing. We go to the bottom of the second on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
To go into to win a championship, don't want to get greedy, but that's a 500 record out of 50 years. It's, playoff baseball, 30 of those years. So, it's a lot of fun. Here it is again in the Atlantic League, which is just as good as league as any in all of minor league baseball, and it's going to be a good baseball, good series. I know it's going to be great fan support from our guys. We've got a big bus coming up from Southern Maryland tonight. So, hey, looking forward to it, and let's have some fun.
Stan, I do have to ask you about this last series the Blue Crabs had. We're not swept across the first 128 games of the year. Swept in the final series. You're playing those same Barnstormers. How do you prevent that from leading into the postseason here?
Well, people don't understand. We had played them 11 times coming into that last series at our place. We had beat them 11 times, 11 out of 11. 12th game was here, and we got rained out after hitting 2 home runs in the first inning.
Right.
So the momentum was definitely on our side. Now, they came to us. We left here that rain out. They had a better team, and I saw that in their bullpen. And they came down to our place, and they shut us out once. Darryl shut them out, and they won an extra inning. So that was a good series. They beat us 2 out of 3. And then this last series here, it was just me not letting all the cards be shown. Right. From a manager, you want to play to win, no doubt, every game. They'd already clinched the second half, so the games really didn't mean nothing in the standings. But momentum is a big thing to be said about this game. I always touch on you can't flip the light switch on and off. You got to keep that light switch on in baseball. I don't think our light switch got clicked off. I just think they went out and dominated us. They struck us out over 30 times in 3 games, and we scored 3 runs.
And the first pitch to Trayvon Robinson fouled off. Third base side, took a ricochet off the sweet level and falls down in front. It's the Blue Crabs nothing, it's the Barnstormers nothing. In the bottom of the second inning, count 0-1 on Trayvon Robinson. And the pitch, swinging a line drive, well struck, left center field. It's Sundberg back, he's at the warning track in front of the wall, he makes the catch. And there is one away. Oh, very well struck ball out to left field at Regency Furniture Stadium. That ball very well may get out of the ballpark. But here at Clipper Magazine Stadium, it's very deep out in left field. and it's merely a long fly out to get things started. In the bottom of the second inning, as Thompson has faced 4 batters here and thrown just 13 pitches. Ariel Sandoval digs in. First pitch from Thompson. Swinging a high pop-up, shallow right field. It's Michael Wolanski who gives way to the right fielder, Jared Walker, who moves in and makes the catch chest high. 3 pitches, 2 outs in the bottom of the second inning. And here comes Chris Proctor. A little past 7 p.m. on the East Coast. We got started here right around 7:40 or so. As Chris Proctor takes a couple of practice swings. And the pitch called strike on Chris Proctor. The count 0-1. Well, around the Atlantic League, what's the score in the South Division Championship Series Game 1? It's Gastonia who have a 1-0 lead over High Point. Pitch fouled off third base side. And the count, no balls. And 2 strikes on Chris Proctor. It's Proctor, the 6th hitter at the plate. He'll be followed by Anthony Peroni if necessary here in the bottom of the second. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Line drive foul, third base side. And when I've talked with Darryl Thompson in the past, he reiterates the same point. His goal here isn't to strike out batters. His goal is to miss barrels. So a high pop-up, a slow ground out, a routine ground out, that's what he's looking for. And sometimes those will squeak through for hits. 0-2 pitch. Called strike 3. Gets the strikeout that time as Chris Proctor goes down looking. It's Buzz Albert, the home plate umpire, who rings up Chris Proctor, and that ends the bottom of the second inning. Thompson has faced 6. He's retired 6. At the end of 2, it's the Blue Crabs nothing. It's the Barnstormers nothing on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Challenged them yesterday. You're going to see the fastball. These guys on this Lancaster thing think they can throw the fastball right by us. And that's what you do as a ball player anyway. You hit off the fastball. So I challenge the guys. Those 3 days are over. It's fresh start today, and this is playoff baseball, and that's what we come to do.
Well, Stan, let's jump into this series. Blue Crabs go with Darryl Thompson in Game 1. What's the expectation out of your ace?
Well, what he always does, go out there and beat Darryl. You know, our team always seems to, when he's pitching, I don't know, there's a little air about us when he pitches. It's amazing what I've seen in him the years he's pitched for me all the way since 2015. You know, his win-loss record in those 7 years is tremendous. He's the all-time leader in wins in this league and all kinds of individual records. But, you know, that happens because players elevate their game behind him. The defense elevates their game behind him. We seem to always score runs for him when, say, if he comes out of the game in the 7th inning, he's down a run. We always seem to either get him a win or get him off the hook. So, you know, we look for the same Darryl out there to go out there and dominate and pitch his game and be smart at what he does, and he knows how to do that with the best of them. And I'm looking for a big game out of him tonight.
Well, we talk about Darryl Thompson. Let's talk a little bit more about this pitching staff. If you look at the numbers from the regular season, the bullpen was terrific. The starting pitching for the Blue Crabs had the best ERA in the league. Do you think it's going to have to be the pitching that leads the way in this series?
Well, you got to score runs. You got to score runs to win games. And I know this team over here, they played 2 games less than us in their home winning percentage. I think they won 44 games here at home. We won 46 at home. And they play good here. They swing the bats good here. But pitching and defense wins games. You find a way to get the runners in scoring position. You find a way to knock them in. They get the 2-out hits. We have done well all year in 2-out base hits with runners in scoring position. So.
Well, you heard from Blue Crabs manager Stan Clyburn. This is a team that always picks up Darryl Thompson. They get hits for him. Well, so far, hasn't been the case. No runs on one hit across the first 2 innings. It's scoreless as we go to the top of the third. First pitch to Michael Baca is a called strike, and the count 0-1. Top of the third inning from Clipper Magazine Stadium in downtown Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Game 1 of a 3 out of 5 series between the Blue Crabs and the Barnstormers. 0-1 pitch, swing and a miss, and the count 0-2 as Oscar De La Cruz blows a 94-mile-an-hour fastball past past Michael Baca. No balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. Pitch, called strike 3. Thompson goes down looking, and there is one away in the top of the third inning. And that brings up Jack Sundberg. He will be joined by another member of the Blue Crabs here in the top of the 4th inning. He is our public address announcer. Stevie Bowen will be joining us on the broadcast. Jack Sundberg digs in. Oscar De La Cruz, first pitch. Breaking ball, called strike. Sundberg 0 for 1. In the first inning, he flied out to right. And the 0-1 pitch to Sundberg, breaking ball. Oh, it's another called strike. It landed in Anthony Peroni's mitt right around the ankles, but when it crossed home plate, it was a big looping curveball in the strike zone, and the count 0-2. No protest from Jack Sundberg on either call. Pitch fouled back, and the count remains 0-2. And those curveballs, according to our track man, were middle. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Here is the 0-2 pitch. A little away in the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Was awfully close. Very nearly got the strike 3 call that time. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. With the base paths empty in a scoreless ball game. Pitch, chopper, third base line. Slowly, it's a fair ball. Throw to first, not even close. An infield single as the third baseman, Trace Lair, tried to watch that ball go foul, but it wasn't going to happen. It stayed fair the entire way down that third base line. The grass was just cut here in the infield today on a ball field that looks tremendous here in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And it's a fair ball down the third base line, and it's a base hit for Jack Sundberg. And there's a runner on first base with 1 out, an infield single. You know what they say, guys who have a lot of speed, they don't go through slumps. You're going to get infield singles and find ways to get on base, and Sundberg does just that. And you never count out stealing a base with him. Pitch, first pitch on the ground is short. Should be 2 on a second for 1. Back on to first. 6, 4, 3, double play. The Blue Crabs pick up a hit, but they go down with 3 up and 3 down, courtesy of a double play ball turned by Jake Hoover, Melvin Mercedes, and Andretti Cordero on the 6-4-3 double play to end the top of the third inning. Still no score at Clipper Magazine Stadium between the Blue Crabs and the Barnstormers. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Blue Crabs Baseball on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
The numbers are there. It's just us to go out and execute, not overanalyze the stat page, but go out and play the game. Relax, take your percentages and do what you know to do. And, that's baseball. Their team over there, again, has gotten better. We are beat up a little bit with Braxton Lee out. That's going to hurt. Alex Crosby's over playing in Germany. with Great Britain. We're going to miss him for the first 2 games. And then our closer, Matt Latos, is out. But, you know, guys have picked each other up all year. The bullpen's been great. Briceño now goes to the bullpen. He goes to the starting, instead of being the setup guy for Latos, he's our closer now, and that brings Dykstra and Connor Law into the setup role. So starting pitching, you know, you got Lamson, you got Butler, you got Merrithew. Look at all the stat numbers on all those guys. They're in the top 5 in ERA. Darryl leading the league in ERA and wins. You got Lamson up there in strikeouts. You got, you know, those 2 guys, Lamson and Merrithew, in the top 5 in earned run average. Bullpen, I think, was the best bullpen out of the league this year. So, you know, it's been great. The pitch has been outstanding. I think we finished second in the league in team ERA at 3.98. So, you know, the numbers are there. Now it's just time to put those numbers into a short series of 5 games. And if you're fortunate enough to win that, you go play for the championship in the best of 5 venue.
And the first pitch from Darryl Thompson is fouled back off the bat of Anthony Peroni in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Blue Crabs, nothing. It's the Barnstormers, nothing. And Anthony Peroni at the plate. Count 0-1 on the righty. Thompson, the 0-1 pitch. Ground ball, third base line foul. It was well struck. Only missed an extra base hit by maybe a foot or 2 down that third base line. And the count 0-2 on Anthony Peroni. Peroni takes a couple of practice swings. And the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Fastball at 86 miles an hour, blown past Anthony Peroni. And there is one away. Back-to-back strikeouts from Darryl Thompson spanning across the 2nd and 3rd inning. His only 2 strikeouts on the day. 2 1/3 innings across 21 pitches for Darryl Thompson. And the pitch popped up behind home plate and into the netting, and the count 0-1 off the bat of Jake Hooper, the righty. He'll be followed by Trace Lair. 7, 8, and 9 in the inning, with the 7-hitter Anthony Peroni going down swinging. Thompson, the 0-1 pitch. Line drive, right field, well struck, sends Walker back. He's at the warning track at the wall. He makes the catch. There are 2 away at that maybe 300-foot wall down in right field. Probably isn't even 300 feet from home plate to the wall in regular right field. Not even down the line. Down the line's probably 290. Maybe regular right field's right at 300. It is really, really shallow. At Regency Furniture Stadium, got an extra 80 feet back there. So just not a lot of room to work with if you're the right fielder, Jared Walker, even on when it's just a routine fly ball to right. That can get out of here at Clipper Magazine Stadium. Pitch popped up off the bat of Trace Lair and down third base side, and the count 0-1. No balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Bottom of the 3rd inning. Blue Crabs nothing and Lancaster nothing. 0-1 offering from Thompson. Upstairs, count 1-1. That was the 25th pitch thrown from Darryl Thompson across 2 2/3. On the other side of the ball for Lancaster, it's De La Cruz who's thrown 41. 1-1 pitch, fastball, swing and a miss from Trace Lair, and he stays off balance, count 1-2. 1-2 offering from Darryl Thompson. Here's the pitch. Little inside, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Base paths are empty. It's the Blue Crabs nothing. It's the Barnstormers nothing. And Lair will step back in. So far, 8 up and 8 down from Thompson. Blue Crabs, meanwhile, have mustered 2 hits and 3 base runners. but no runs. 2-2, foul back to the netting, and the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. Now the Blue Crabs, they've struggled to move runners into scoring position. They had a hit-by pitch from Wolanski. He did steal second, found himself on second base to end the inning. Sundberg was at first when there was a double play ball, and Joe DeLuca was stranded on first base. They have 3 base runners, but no one made it past second base. 2-2 pitch, upstairs, count 3-2. And a rare situation for Darryl Thompson when he falls behind in a count. So far this year, walks have been very limited from the righty. Walked a total of 22 batters across 186 innings, about 1 walk per 9, just the shade over 1 walk per 9. Pitch, swinging a high fly ball, left field line, long run for Sundberg. He's in the corner, he gets under it and makes the catch in front of the left field foul pole to end the inning. Another 1-2-3 inning for Darryl Thompson. We're done with 3 innings of play. It's the Blue Crabs, nothing. It's the Barnstormers, nothing. We go to the top of the 4th on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
With Great Britain, we're going to miss him for the first 2 games. And then our closer, Matt Latos, is out. But, you know, guys have picked each other up all year. The bullpen's been great. Briseño now goes to the bullpen. He goes to the starting, instead of being the setup guy for Latos, he's our closer now, and that brings Dykstra and Connor Law into the setup role. So starting pitching, you know, you got Lamson, you got Butler, you got Merrithew. Look at all the stat numbers on all those guys. They're in the top 5 in ERA. Darryl leading the league in ERA and wins. You got Lamson up there in strikeouts. You got, you know, those and Merrithew in the top 5 in earned run average. Bullpen, I think, was the best bullpen out of the league this year. So, you know, it's been great. The pitch has been outstanding. I think we finished second in the league in team ERA at 3.98. So, you know, the numbers are there. Now it's just time to put those numbers into a short series of 5 games. And if you're fortunate enough to win that, you go play for the championship in a best-of-5 venue. And then, hey, you see where you're at. But the numbers are there. The athletes are out here, minus those guys I mentioned in the injury. But there's no excuses. You got to pick each other up. That gives an opportunity for somebody to step in the big role. And we don't know who that's going to be. But I challenged the guys yesterday. Somebody pick up Braxton Lee or pick up Matt Latos.
Well, we go to the top of the 4th inning from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Austin Rooney joined by Stevie Bowen. Blue Crabs PA announcer. First pitch to Zach Collier. Swinging a line drive towards shallow left center field. Oh, a diving play from the shortstop, Jake Hoover. And he somehow came up with that ball and left. And he is down on the field, but that is the catch of the year if I've ever seen one.
Holy cow. Austin, I'm a little bit upset I hopped on the broadcast for a second. I was just going to say the Blue Crabs front office is here representing Southern Maryland tonight, and I hop on the broadcast for 1 second, and I think Jake Hoover just made, I agree with you, the play of the year. Holy cow. Full extension. I don't think he could have jumped any higher in the air to get that ball. Oh, my goodness. That was a fantastic play, but it looks like Stan Clyburn is trying to figure something out at third base. I'm not sure what's going on down there.
Well, he wants to talk, I think, to the umpire to see if it may have popped out of his glove at any point. I'd have to imagine. I can't imagine anything else as far as why he'd be out on the field.
I would assume it's going to be maybe he dropped the ball at some point, but if he made that catch, I was about to say, it looked like he made that catch pretty cleanly.
We have 4 umpires here for the playoffs. It's Buzz Albert behind the plate. Silvio Martinez is at first. Warren Nicholson, we've seen quite a bit of him over this road trip. He's at second base. And Federico De Jesus is the third base umpire. And right now it is Warren Nicholson who's having the conversation with Stan Cliver, and I couldn't imagine they're going to overturn this call.
No, I think even as I don't even know what to say, honestly, after seeing that play. That was fantastic. That was, I can't exaggerate, full extension. Fully extended out to make that play. I understand, if Stan saw something different trying to go for that argument, but I don't think this gets overturned at all.
No, and now he walks back to the dugout. It's one thing when you see a ball getting past somebody who leaps up. Mm-hmm. He dove backwards.
Yeah.
And that's such a rare play to see.
Not only a hard enough play diving for the ball, but having to, turn to your right, run backwards, and then fully extend all in the same motion. Extremely athletic play.
Yeah. That is the play of the year at shortstop so far. I don't think there's anything that's even a contender at this point. As a terrific play made by the shortstop, Jake Hoover, in a scoreless game in the top of the fourth inning. And the pitch, swing and a miss at a breaking ball, and it appeared that David Harris was way off balance on a pitch low in the dirt, count 0-1. No score here from Clipper Magazine Stadium, but Stevie, let's talk about this trip that the front office made and a lot of the fans did after the 0-1 pitch. Swinging a ground ball over to short. Hoover's been busy. He fields this ball on the backhand, fires across the diamond, and gets David Harris, who is running with some pace down the first baseline, and there are two away.
As much as I don't want to say it, Jake Hoover is an absolute elite shortstop. He is a very good shortstop. He's shown that just from the past 2 outs in this inning. He's fantastic. David Harris ripped that ball over the shortstop, but no issue for him at all. But yeah, we'll get back to the front office. The front office for the Blue Crabs, we have, I think, most of us, like 9 out of 10, however many of us are in the front office at this point at the end of the season.
And it's a limited group at this point.
I was about to say, it's a limited group. We had upwards of 17, 18, including interns. But the 7 or 8, 9, 10, however many are here so far towards the end of the season, we're all here supporting the Blue Crabs. We had a party bus come up. Thanks to Adventure Tours in Southern Maryland. They offered a party bus. We sold tickets to fans. We got about 40 total people here supporting the Blue Crabs, at least, that just came on our bus. We definitely saw a few other fans that weren't on the bus that are here supporting tonight. We love them as well, but yeah, we got a solid group with us.
0-1 pitch on the ground to first base. It's Andretti Cordero who takes it to the bag himself. It ends the top of the fourth inning. Let's stick with us here in the break, though, for just one more moment and talk a little bit about the bus and the fans who made the trip. Of course, we'll see, I'm sure, a packed house at the Reg on Friday night. But first, here in this trip here, the dedication from some of these Blue Crabs fans and season ticket holders to make the trip up to Lancaster. How long was the bus ride there for us?
We actually ended up hitting some traffic because of an accident on whatever highway we were on. So I think it ended up being, I think we got here about, gates open at 5:30. We were about, I think we got here probably close to 5 o'clock. We had planned on getting here maybe a little bit earlier than that, but no, we got here close to about 5 o'clock, so about 2.5, 3 hours. Yeah, it was a decent bus ride, but no, like I said, Adventure Tours, they have super comfortable buses. We were hanging out, having a good time. It was a breeze. It was a fun bus ride.
All right, Stevie. Well, hopefully you'll stick with us here for the bottom of the fourth inning as Darryl Thompson takes the mound for the Blue Crabs. No score between the Blue Crabs and the Barnstormers on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. Now we go to the bottom of the fourth inning from Clipper Magazine Stadium. Austin Rooney joined by Stevie Bowen. Happy to have you with us.
I'm happy to be here, Austin.
And the pitch to Shawan Dunston fouled off third base side. No score. Dunston, the leadoff hitter. And back in the first inning, he flied out to right field.
You know, Austin, I have a question for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the last time I was on the broadcast was the last game of the regular season.
Yep, pitch, line drive toward left center field. It's Jack Sundberg who drifts over, leaps, and makes the catch chest high for the first out. There's one away in the bottom of the first, still no score. Go ahead.
So last time I was on the broadcast was the last game of the regular season, Fan Appreciation Day, and as you called it, Blue Crabs Staff Appreciation Day,
Yes.
as I think you had maybe 90% of the front office staff on the broadcast that day. That was awesome. Honestly, I think that was hilarious. So we talked about the Blue Crabs and how they would go up against, a AAA lineup. This
Right.
Lancaster team, I've been looking at them a little bit more
Yep.
recently. Obviously, now the playoffs had started. You want to look at the team you're going to play a little bit more. This Lancaster team looks pretty good.
They do. First pitch called strike to Melvin Mercedes. I think you're exactly right. I was talking with to Eddie Butler about this earlier, and about how good this Lancaster team is. And he says, look, they're playing like a really good AA ball club right now.
Yeah, I that's what I was thinking as well.
0-1 pitch, lifted high in the air, right field. It's Walker back at the wall. It's going to get off the wall. He misplayed it, tried to get back to the wall to make a play on the ball, and it bounced off the wall and ricocheted in front of him. It is a one-out double off the bat of Melvin Mercedes, and the Lancaster Barnstormers have their first hit of the game on a line drive off the wall and right.
Obviously, you never want to say it, but Darryl Thompson, no hitter through that. I think perfect game.
It was 10 up, 10 down to start the game.
10 up, 10 down to start the game. I mean, but at the same time, that's just what Darryl Thompson does. That's Darryl Thompson. That's how he goes on the mound. It's a shame. That one, of course, Jared Walker, fantastic in right field, not normally where he plays, but of course, with that Braxton Lee injury, finds himself in right field. He's been doing a fantastic job, just that one a little bit too high off that wall in right field. It got away from him.
And throw down a second, and Baca tried to sneak in behind Melvin Mercedes and swipe the tag on him, but a little late. Runner on second still with one away. Now, back to that point about Jared Walker and right. I'm not sure he could have played that ball much differently in hindsight.
No.
He wants to try to make a catch on that ball, and it's tough to really say where the wall is. Pitch, this one, swinging a high pop-up right field side yet again. This one tails into foul territory and finds the seeds count 0-1, off the bat of Andretti Cordero.
I've talked to a couple front office members just about it tonight. I'm assuming you've talked about it on the broadcast a million times. Clipper Magazine Park is exactly Regency Furniture Stadium if you just flip it. That's all it is.
Yep.
So, Jack Sundberg, fantastic at playing left field at Regency Furniture Stadium, might have a little bit of a disadvantage here at Clipper Magazine. Sometimes it's just the opposite. So, you got to see how they play it off the wall. I think that one was just too high off the wall in general. I don't think he could have played that much differently. He tried his best.
Yeah. The pitch came up and in on Cordero. Count 1-1. The only other option would have been to play it on a bounce off the wall and, accept that the ball is going to hit the wall, and possibly could have prevented a double, but still. 1-1 pitch fouled off first base side, count 1-2. The other thing is, Regency Furniture Stadium down that left field line, right around 310. And once the mini monster comes to its conclusion out there in left center, it's probably like 350.
I would say probably close to
Here in Lancaster, right field's like 320.
Yeah, maybe.
Right center's like maybe 330.
Maybe. They definitely have the short porch that's mixed with the high wall in right field that they use to their advantage.
Ground ball over to second base, fielded by Wolanski. He tosses to first. There are two away. Meanwhile, it's Melvin Mercedes from second to third. And so a runner on third base with 2 outs following the ground out from Andretti Cordero. And here comes Trayvon Robinson, the cleanup hitter.
Trayvon Robinson especially has been fantastic for this Barnstormers lineup as of recent. Giving the Blue Crabs a little bit of work there on the defensive side. He's a very good hitter, I believe.
Trayvon Robinson was 3 for 8 in this last series against the Blue Crabs, added a home run to his name. You look up and down that Barnstormers lineup from that last series, there were a lot of players who had good series. Pitch, ground ball, first base side, foul. Blue Crabs were outscored 20-3.
Austin, I kind of thought it was, kind of a Blue Crabs front office unspoken rule. We weren't going to talk about the last series, It happens. That's what I'm saying. one series does not change the outlook or, how you perceive any team in any way. Lancaster does look fantastic right now. They look like a very solid ball club. But at the same time, this is the same Blue Crabs team that has been killing it since, April 21st, whatever opening day was for the Atlantic League. This is the same exact team. I think they're going to come out in this playoffs and they're going to be excited to play playing the same baseball they have been all year.
The 0-1 pitch was up and away, count 1-1. We talked with Stan Clyburn about that last point. As the pitch a little bit away, count 2-1. Stan told us that the Blue Crabs manager said, hey, we got to turn the page here. It's time for the playoffs.
Yeah.
Playoffs are different than the regular season. He said he didn't want to show all of his cards in that last regular season series.
Which is honestly what I think everybody expected. I don't
Right.
think anybody expected both teams to bring their best guys out there to play against each other. I don't think so.
1 ball, 1 strike to Robinson. Pitch, swing and a miss. Count 1-2. Blew a 91-mile-an-hour fastball by, and that's about as high as the velocity is going to get from Darryl Thompson. And we talked about this a number of times in the broadcast. He's not someone who's going to blow you away with his pace. And I said, look, you're not really a crafty pitcher either. And he said, no, you're right, I'm not. He's somewhere in between.
He's an anomaly. It doesn't make sense. He doesn't throw 100 miles an hour by you. He's not going to throw a breaking ball that breaks 10 feet. He just throws something that's going to make you get out, and that's just how Darryl Thompson pitches.
And he told us, look, you want to miss barrels. That's the number one thing. You want to miss barrels.
That's what he's good at. That's what he's good at doing. He's good at making people miss the barrel. We've talked, I can't even tell you. You understand being here in 2019 with Darryl, me being the broadcast intern in 2021, and then, of course, in this year, 2022, we talk about it a million times. Of it. We say it all the time. Darryl's not going to strike you out. He's not going to make you do anything besides ground out and fly out. That's it. That's all he does.
Yep, that's about it. 2-2 pitch, line foul. The count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. When we talked with Darryl Thompson in our pregame show a little while back, he said, look, I don't go for strikeouts. That's what I'm looking for. He's just looking at miss barrels.
Whatever works. Whatever works.
I asked him about that one time when he had 7 strikeouts in the first 3 innings, and he seemed like he was surprised that had happened because, again, he wasn't trying to do that.
I remember being upstairs. As people on the broadcast might know, I'm also the PA announcer. I didn't know if Austin said it beforehand.
Right. 2-2 pitch, called strike 3 on the inside corner. We talked about how Darryl Thompson does not like to strike batters out theoretically. He gets him looking here on a pitch that was maybe on the inside corner. Looked a little low and in from our vantage point. But either way, Trayvon Robinson goes down on strikes to end the bottom of the 4th inning. Can you stick with us here for the 5th?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll hang out.
All right, sounds good. We're going to go to break. When we come back, it's the top of the 5th inning. No score between the Blue Crabs and the Barnstormers in the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. Well, you got to listen to the end of that interview with Stan Clyburn, the Blue Crabs manager, at the end of the 4th inning. Start of the 5th inning now. We're underway. The first pitch is inside to Santiago Chirino. We're underway in the top of the 5th. No score between the Blue Crabs and the Barnstormers, and the 1-0 pitch. Line drive foul, first base side, count 1-1. Austin Rooney joined by Stevie Bowen. Stevie, couple things here. Let's start with Santiago Chirino. You haven't been able to see him yet because he joined the team on the road in Long Island, or on Long Island, I should say.
Yeah, I was going to say something about him. I'm happy he's coming up to the plate right now because Santiago Chirino,
Pitch, ground ball over to third base, fielded by Trace Lair on the forehand. He fires across the diamond, and there's one away.
You know what? That's fine. That happens. Ground outs happen. I was just going to say that, we haven't been able to see him in person, but obviously, working in the marketing department, we're live tweeting games constantly. I've been able to keep up with the Blue Crabs. The addition to Santiago Chirino to this lineup with, missing Alex Crosby due to playing for Great Britain and missing Raul Shaw as well, he's been a fantastic addition to that third
He really
base
has.
side.
He has.
I really enjoy seeing him play.
I don't know, and I'm not envious of Stan Clyburn to have to make that decision when Alex Crosby comes back. What's going to happen? Because you don't want to take Chirino out of this lineup as is. Pitch called strike on the lefty, Jared Walker, and the count 0-1. Speaking of Alex Crosby, Raul Shaw, Mackenzie Mills, Kent Blackstone, the 4 of them from Great Britain, they are on to the World Baseball Classic as of today. 0-1 pitch, wave and a miss, and the count 0-2 on Jared Walker. It is terrific what they've been able to accomplish. 3 games, 3 wins, and a ticket is punched today.
Yeah, super excited for those guys. Those guys deserve it. Kent Blackstone, 2019-2021 Blue Crab. Basically the starting shortstop and second baseman for that 2019-2021 Blue Crabs team. Alex Crosby, who you guys know has been here last year and this year. Raul Shaw this year as well. We're super excited for them. Us as a front office was cheering a little bit on the bus once we saw, the Instagram stories. Everybody celebrating, clinching that, that berth. But no, that's extremely exciting for them, and we're all happy for them.
0-2 pitch up and away, count 1-2. We were having Raul Shaw make a couple appearances on our YouTube chat. Across the course of the past
letting us know the
6-7 games.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he was doing that. He was, and the pitch, 1-2, swing and a miss, strike 3. A little bit of trash talking there from Raul Shaw in our YouTube chat as well. We can't forget that.
Always.
Gotta like it. Some friendly banter.
Of course. I think, friendly banter makes sports better. I think, too much trash talking is too much, but hey, it takes a lot to get to too much trash talking, I think, in my opinion. I think every sport needs a little bit of trash talking to make it a little bit more fun.
Ryan Haug will dig in that last part of the conversation with Stan Klein. We'll get there in one moment. Pitch called, strike, count. We talked about how the reason that they chose to go the last 3 games of that series was recalling the 2015 playoffs and the way it worked then, and thought, hey, got to go back in the same direction we did that time. 0-1 pitch, swinging a high fly ball, deep left field. This one down the line. It's fair. It is gone. That ball is off the foul pole. A solo home run from Ryan Haug, who goes deep to left, and the Blue Crabs are on the board first in the top of the 5th inning. A solo shot down the left field line, off the left field foul pole, and the Blue Crabs have a 1-0 lead. That Crustacean Nation flag over the third base dugout continues to wave as Ryan Haug, with a solo home run to left, has given the Blue Crabs a 1-0 lead.
Crustacean Nation showing at the Clipper Magazine Stadium. Ryan Haug did absolutely fantastic on that ball. Ryan Haug absolutely destroyed that ball to left field. I knew off the bat if it was fair, it was gone. The sound off the bat, everything that came in between it, that was fantastic. That was awesome to see.
And the pitch now to Michael Baca, called strike, count 0-1. The Blue Crabs did not muster an extra base hit up until this point in the ballgame. They had just 2 hits so far on the day, a single from Joe DeLuca, along with an infield single from Jack Sundberg. The bats weren't clicking, but a solo shot off the foul pole from Ryan Haug has given the Blue Crabs a 1-0 lead. Pitch, foul back in the count, 0-1 on a 96-mile-an-hour fastball from Oscar De La Cruz. And the count 0-2. 1-0 Blue Crabs to score in the top of the 5th inning.
You know, sometimes that's all it takes for this Blue Crabs lineup. When they're on, and when they're not, you know. But, you know, that's baseball. That's exactly how baseball works. When a team is hitting well and hitting together as a team, they're going to beat teams by 100 runs, you know. But when they're not hitting together, sometimes they struggle to put stuff together. But, you know, it seems like the Blue Crabs are hitting the ball well tonight. They're just going right to people. Ryan Howe hopefully starting something here right now with that shot to left field, and I think the Blue Crabs got something rolling.
No doubt about it. The 0-2 pitch a little away, count 1-2, and Ryan Howe hitting well recently, was 3 for 4 in that last game of the season, including an RBI and a double. And now the 1-2 offering to Michael Baca. Line drive, foul back behind home plate, and the count 1-2 strikes is headed right in our direction. You really can't get a ball in our vantage point here in the booth because there's a little covering there overhead. So based on the netting and the mathematics and the geometry and the rest of it, there's no way a ball is getting in here.
Austin, you didn't pick a better person to talk to about this right now, because as the PA announcer for the Blue Crabs, I have been waiting all season for a fly ball or for a foul ball to just get tipped. All you need to do is just tip it a little bit, just so it gets over the backstop and it'll come directly in the PA booth. I'm waiting
Hasn't happened yet.
I'm waiting for my time to shine. There was a game I was working that wasn't a Blue Crabs game at the stadium. I dropped a foul ball that came into the PA booth, dude.
Did it go back outside?
Dude, no, it came directly in. It came right at me. Like it could not have been more perfect, and I just dropped it. I was so ready. I missed it. And I've been waiting for one to happen during a Blue Crabs game, and it hasn't happened yet this year. But I was just looking at it when that fastball happened. Yeah, I think there's a 0% chance it's happening here.
1-2 pitch was up and away. Count 2-2 now on Michael Baca. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Top of the 5th inning. The Blue Crabs had that all-important run, though.
Yes.
I will say back in 2019, we caught 2 foul balls. I caught 2 foul balls in the course of, I think, 2 days.
Were you outside?
Sitting
the
outside,
booth?
yes. 2-2 pitch,
Okay.
a little bit up and away. Check swing, the motion down to first. And the first base umpire, Silvio Martinez, said no, he didn't go. Count 3-2 now on Michael Baca. But it was 2 foul balls in the course of 2 days.
I was going to say you would have to be outside because, I was in that broadcast booth last year as well. There's a very slim chance it's getting through that. Even the PA booth.
Yep.
The PA booth is bigger.
Right.
I think there's no shot, but outside that makes a little more sense. But that's insane.
3-2. Popped up foul yet again. Michael Baca working a deep count against Oscar De La Cruz. That was the 8th pitch of the at-bat against the righty, and that was pitch number 63 of the evening. And if you're not going to get a ton of runs off him to get him out of the ball game, you got to get that pitch count up.
Yes, no, exactly. I think that's something that the Blue Crabs have done really well on the entire year. If you're not going to score 100 runs, they're at least going to take these counts into 3-4 pitches. Work that pitch count, get those relievers in the game, and try to stack up on them.
3-2 pitch from Oscar De La Cruz. Slow windup. Now the fire pitch. Ground ball. 2-hopper over to second. Melvin Mercedes, a really nice play. Fielding the ball. He tosses to first in time to get Baca for the final out. Well, Stevie, thanks for coming on the broadcast tonight.
I appreciate you so much, Austin. I'm excited to watch the rest of the game here in Lancaster. Blue Crabs fans, thank you for supporting us. Even if you're just watching the broadcast back at home, we appreciate y'all. We're so excited to see you guys on Friday. Hope you guys can come out to Regency Furniture Stadium. We're trying to pack it out for the season. It's going to be super exciting. We're excited for Game 3.
Bingo, Stevie. It's 1-0 Blue Crabs. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning at Clipper Magazine Stadium. Don't go anywhere.
This is Darryl Thompson, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
are underway in the bottom of the 5th inning. 1-0 Blue Crabs over the Lancaster Barnstormers. We just had Stevie Bowen on the broadcast for the last inning and a half. Pitch from Daryl Thompson is a called strike, and the count, no balls and 1 strike. Glad to have you with us in the bottom of the 5th inning. It's the Barnstormers who have no runs on 1 hit. The Blue Crabs 1 run on 3 hits. It's Ariel Sandoval who gets things started. He bats 5th in the order for the Barnstormers. And the pitch, a little away on a 91-mile-an-hour fastball from Daryl Thompson. Count 1 ball and 1 strike. Bottom of the 5th inning. Let's get to a couple of our comments in the YouTube chat. As Marilee Grace says, let's go Blue Crabs, watching from Lee's Summit, Missouri. But I'll be watching from Waldorf on Friday. Woohoo! And the 1-1. Called strike, and the count 1-2. Outside corner that time from the home plate umpire Buzz Albert on the batter Ariel Sandoval. The count 1-2. Donnie Geeky says, let's go Blue Crabs. It's go time. Beat the hype and bring home the trophy. Watching from Powder Springs, Georgia. Well, Donnie, let us know if you're going to make a trip up to Waldorf or if you're going to join the Blue Crabs on the road at all. We'd love to see you again prior to a game. Maybe we'll have you on the broadcast for all we know. 1-2 pitch is a little outside, count 2-2. Eric Shellhouse, who's been on the broadcast before, he was, of course, part of Bat Boys Baseball, says, driving home from campus as fast as I can to watch right now. John Higgs says, go Crabs and shell 'em. Raul Shah, good luck, Blue Crabs. 2-2 pitch now to Ariel Sandoval. Foul back, and the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. Raul Shah and his team, Great Britain, just won that double elimination pool, and they have clinched a spot in the World Baseball Classic come March of 2023. Harvey King says, let's go Blue Crabs, watching from, is it Gloucester? Is it Gloucester? What is it? Virginia. I don't want to get that pronunciation wrong. 2-2 pitch, foul back, and the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. Melissa A. says, hi, Dr. Shah. Will you be back for any of the playoffs? I think you should be back for Friday. You know, the players from Great Britain not going to be available tomorrow because it's too much as far as travel is concerned. But for Friday, this team should be full strength, returning from Great Britain. Pitch, swinging a high fly ball, right center field, rather deep. Collier back. He's in front of the warning track. He's at the wall, and he makes the catch right in front of the UPMC life-changing medicine sign in right center field. It's Zach Collier who tracks down the long fly ball from Ariel Sandoval, and there is 1 away in the bottom of the 5th inning. Wow, well played by Zach Collier. Eric Shellhouse responding to the solo shot from Ryan Haug says laser. JDUS says Haug, and the Blue Crabs have that 1-0 lead courtesy of the solo shot off the bat of Ryan Haug, the catcher, coming through late in the season for the Blue Crabs. Pitch, foul ball, might have gone off the mask of Haug, and he taps the batter, Chris Proctor, on the back. Says, I'm all right. That's gotta feel that, though. I mean, the mask is there. I know, I get it, but that's not comfortable. Ooh. Count 0-1 now on Chris Proctor. Will be joined by the Blue Crabs visiting clubhouse manager Wes Mumper for the top of the 6th inning. He's a frequent commenter on the Blue Crabs YouTube chat, so we'll be happy to have him in the top of the 6th inning as we get a number of Blue Crabs personnel on the broadcast for tonight's ball game in Game 1 of the North Division Championship Series. And the 0-1 delivery. Line drive foul behind home plate. Count 0-2 on Chris Proctor. We had Fan Appreciation Day for the last game of the regular season. Stevie Bowen was talking about this. We also had Staff Appreciation Day. We tried to get as much of the front office on the broadcast as possible. We had Jerron Nathan on the broadcast. We had Stevie Bowen. We had a whole host of Blue Crabs and our staff on the broadcast. 0-2 pitch, up and away, count 1-2. We had Chris Morris. We had Anthony Bradshaw. We had Wesley Moore, our camera operator. 1-2 pitch is low, count 2-2. We had a whole host of Blue Crab staff on that broadcast, and looking forward to having Wes joining us here for the top of the 6th. As the count 2-2 on Chris Proctor. And the 2-2 offering from Darrell Thompson. Swing and a miss, strike three. Another strikeout for Darrell Thompson. For the Blue Crabs ace, it's his fourth strikeout of the game, and there are two away. 2 up and 2 down here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Darrell Thompson has faced 15 batters. He's retired 14 of them. The only one he did not was a line drive double off the bat of Melvin Mercedes. And here comes Anthony Peroni. Jake Hoover on deck. Hoover made the outstanding catch that robbed a base hit from Zach Collier. Was back in the 4th inning, and what a catch that was. Maybe the catch of the year in the Atlantic League. Pitch called strike on Anthony Peroni, and the count 0-1 on the righty. One on the inside corner pitch. That's a little away. Count 1-1 on the righty. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Bottom of the 5th inning. It's the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs have a 1-0 lead over the Lancaster Barnstormers. That solo shot in the top of the 5th is the difference right now. And the 1-1 to Peroni. Swinging a high fly ball right field. Does this have the distance back at the warning track? Walker's there in front of the Penn State Health sign. He makes the catch for the final out. That right field wall today has been playing a big role, but Darrell Thompson has managed to avoid it thus far. And it's another 1-2-3 inning from the Blue Crabs ace. We're done with 5. It's the Blue Crabs 1. It's the Barnstormers 0 on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
It's going to be the same song, same place in the song, when the music stops.
This is Alex Crosby, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
At Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, mortgages are what they do, not who they are. Fairway Mortgage Corporation is a proud partner of the American Warrior Initiative. A key part of this initiative is to educate, encourage, and inspire Americans to give back to our military. Visit their website at www.americanwarriorinitiative.com for more details. Our military fought to protect the American dream. Let's help them live it.
We are back from Clipper Magazine Stadium. It's Austin Rooney, joined by Blue Crabs visiting clubhouse manager Wes Mumper. Wes, thanks for joining us on the broadcast tonight.
It is great to be here, Austin. Good evening, Crustacean Nation, and hopefully you're watching the game and loving it.
A 1-0 lead for the Blue Crabs. First pitch to Jack Sundberg, popped up toward left field. It's Chris Proctor who ranges over a little bit toward the line and makes the catch right over to the side of his body for the first out. And there is one away. in the top of the 6th inning. 1-0 the score line still. A solo shot from Ryan Haug is the difference for now in this ballgame.
Yeah, it's really been a very close game. Pitchers have been, it's a really good pitchers duel, just that one pitch was able to get Haug out of here, and that was it, but hopefully we'll be able to get at him a little bit more and run up the score.
And the pitch from Oscar De La Cruz, a called strike on the outside corner to Michael Wolanski. And the count, no balls and 1 strike. So far for Oscar De La Cruz, 5 1/3 inning, 4 strikeouts, 1 run on 3 hits. He's only thrown 66 pitches, so the Blue Crabs bats are going to have to get to him if he's going to get out of this ball game, as the 0-1 pitch is a little low and away, count 1-1.
I have a feeling if he tires enough, that more than likely we might be able to get to him. If you get, especially top of the lineup, might be able to get to him a little better.
It is Michael Wolanski, the 2-hitter at the plate. 0 for 1, he grounded into a double play and was hit by a pitch. 1-1 pitch, a little bit inside, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike. Wolanski will be followed by Zach Collier. Of course, the 3-hitter throughout the course of the season has been Braxton Lee. Here's the 2-1. Swinging a line drive, well struck down the left field line. That one's going to fall. It's going to go to the wall. It'll be extra bases. Wolanski rounds first. He trots into second. Long route around second. He's going to third. A throw to third base. It's not in time. 1-out triple for Michael Wolanski at a line drive to left. I think everybody thought he was going to stop at second. He turned on the jets and ran into third base, diving in safely with 1 away in the top of the 6th. How about that effort for Michael Wolanski?
That was some really good base running from Wolanski. That was really good to be able to see, and the ball just came in a little short, and the relay was not in time. And it was really good to be able to see that.
Michael Wolanski with a 1-out triple down the third baseline. How about that play? As Zach Collier will dig in from the left side. And an opportunity to trade a run with an out here. You got to get a fly ball, though, because the infield is in for the Barnstormers.
Mm-hmm.
You got to wonder if it's on the ground, is Wolanski going? He might be. You want to force that throw to the plate? It probably depends on where that ball is in the infield. Pitch a little bit away in the count, 1 ball and no strikes to Collier. Maybe middle infield. Wolanski might come to the plate, but if you're at the corners, probably not.
I looking at where everybody's standing at the moment, if you got one right up the middle, he might be all right. But I'm also seeing how the outfielders are way off the line at the moment. That could also be an advantageous spot to put it and get extra bases for himself. A
1-0 pitch, foul back to the netting. Count 1 ball and 1 strike now on Zach Collier. 1-0 Blue Crabs. That solo home run back in the top of the 5th inning is the difference for now off the bat of Ryan Haug, but the Blue Crabs threatening again. Runner on third base and 1 out in the top of the 6th. Oscar De La Cruz running into trouble at the wrong time. A critical point in this game. 1-1 pitch, breaking ball, but it's left upstairs in the count 2-1. Walk might not be the worst thing in the world here for Oscar De La Cruz. The problem, though, is you got David Harris on deck.
Yeah, it's hard to be able to think of that. If you walk Collier, then you have Harris. Harris has got power. He's good on the base pass. So it is kind of a toss-up.
You do have that double play ball if you walk him. 2-1 pitch. That's a breaking ball on the inner half in the count. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Zach Collier. Oscar De La Cruz with a 4.36 earned run average back in the regular season, a 9-3 record going up against Darryl Thompson with a 15-4 record, an ERA of 3.43. But De La Cruz in trouble here, popped up, foul, third base side, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. It remains. It's game 1, a couple of aces on the mound, and they're showing out.
Yeah, it really is. That's De La Cruz. I've seen him from the visiting side. He's a competitor. He's somebody who's going to go out there and grind every time. You can get to him, but it'll probably be later on. And him going up against Darryl is a good matchup.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Infield in with the runner on third. Pitch, line drive, foul yet again. That was the 6th pitch of the at bat. And the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes on Zach Collier. We talked about working De La Cruz, and that's what we're getting from Collier right here.
Yeah, he's getting a good at-bat at the moment, deep into pitches. Hopefully he can run the pitch count up a little bit, and maybe that'll, help a little bit later on, down the line, get him out of the game and maybe get to one of the relievers.
Get to the bullpen. It's a frequent refrain after you've got a strong starting pitcher like Oscar De La Cruz on the mound. 2-2 pitch to Collier. Upstairs, count 3-2. So the count runs full on the lefty. That was the 7th pitch of the at-bat. With Wolanski still on third, that triple down the left field line. Usually a triple, you think right field line, but
yeah, here, it was right at the right spot, and because they were playing off the line, it was hard to be able to get a good bounce off that wall, to be able to get it in quicker.
And the 3-2 now to Collier. That's away. It's ball 4. So we talked about what the walk will do. It does set up a double play ball middle infield. Harris does run rather well, though. So runners on the corners with 1 out, and now they're going to have a meeting at the mound as the Lancaster Barnstormers don't want to wait any longer. As I believe it is Jeff Bianchi, I beg your pardon, the pitching coach, Mark Johnson, who's going to come out and have that meeting at the mound and check on Oscar De La Cruz. Don't want to wait too long here and let this game get out of reach.
No, and it's probably a good strategic calm down, even if there's not much to talk to out there. At least give him a breather for a second to try to get him back in the game. But now he's got runners on the corners with a power hitter coming up. It's going to be difficult, especially when you only have 1 out at the moment.
1 away, runners on first and third. And when you're going up against Darryl Thompson, well, there's not a lot of room for error. The Blue Crabs bullpen's in a bit of an interesting spot as well, because if you can get Thompson to go 7, you go Dykstra, Briseño, I think that's probably it.
Yeah, that would probably be the best setup. You could probably throw in a Baker if he's available, or
Connor
something
Law
like that.
as well.
Connor Law, but if you can get Darryl to be able to get into 7, and get past 7, then you're setting yourself up for a pretty good relief situation from Briseño in the 9th and
yeah, right. Briseño's going to be he's going to be the closer now that Latos, of course, is out. So
yeah, and I know Latos he wants to get back in there. I know, but he's not doing well, and hopefully get him back as soon as we can. If we get able to get past the first round.
Yeah, right. Runners on first and third with 1 out. David Harris at the plate. We said it might not be bad to walk Collier. If you load the bases here, might also bring another question into this. Infield moves back with the runner at first base at double play depth for David Harris. Pitch. Swinging a pop-up foul back behind home plate. Count 0-1. There were a couple of checks on first base at Zach Collier. I think the idea being they don't want him to take off for second base and put 2 runners in scoring position and take the double play ball away.
Yeah, and Zach's got a good ability, along with a few others, to be able to get stolen bases in. He's 9 for 11 so far. But so he's got some ability to be able to do that. He's got the speed to be able to do it too. But you definitely don't want to set up where you can take that double play ball out of play from the Barnstormers' point of view. Oh, that was way high and out.
Way just over the head of David Harris. And the count 1-1. Very nearly hit him, and a breaking ball just got away from Oscar De La Cruz that time. Certainly not meant to go up and in with the breaking ball. It just completely slipped out of his hand. 1 ball, 1 strike on David Harris with Joe DeLuca on deck. Maybe from the Barnstormers' point of view, you'd rather have bases loaded, 1 out with DeLuca than first and third with Harris. Pitch popped up in the infield, back behind home plate. Ball's going to get out of play. You could tell he was disappointed. I think he thought he could have gotten a much better piece of that ball, but the count 1-2.
And David Harris has always been a competitor. He's going to be he's a little too hard on himself sometimes, but he's a competitor. He's going to go out there. He's going to do everything he can, and he evaluates everything. And he tries to put himself into a good position to be able to get a good ball out there to be able to score runs, and help out his team.
1-2 pitch now to Harris. Foul back. Count remains 1-2. De La Cruz tried to beat him with a hard fastball, but it was David Harris who got a piece of it.
And just like with Collier, Harris is getting a good at bat in. He's fouling some balls off. He's getting good hacks. And at some point he's gonna get it either in play or it's gonna go. He's gonna walk him, but he's at least getting that pitch count up.
1-2, swinging a high pop up in the infield. It's the third baseman Trace Lair who goes to foul ground and makes the catch for the second out. As Trace Lair drifted into foul territory to make the catch. The big shame there for the Blue Crabs. Don't get to bring that run in from third base with a fly out or even a ground out.
Yeah, and it's going to be now with what I have noticed in recent weeks, and even in the last couple of months, that even with 2 outs, the Blue Crabs seem to find a way of being able to get some good stuff going with 2 outs on it. But all we can do is right now is just hope that Joe coming up to bat now is got something in his pocket that he's able to get done.
Joe DeLuca, 1 for 2 on the day. Had a base hit to right center earlier. First pitch, swing and a miss. The count 0-1. 93 on the fastball that time from Oscar De La Cruz. He's relied pretty heavily upon that fastball. And now the pitch count starting to rise. 82 pitches now through 5 2/3. At this point, I could see him going back for the 7th, but I could also see them making that change after 6 innings as he's starting to run into trouble now, back-to-back innings. 0-1 pitch to Joe DeLuca, low and in, and now it's Collier who takes off for second. He fakes a throw down to second. The catcher Peroni does, now looks to third, and no one's going from third base, so second and third with 2 outs. It's an important move for the Blue Crabs. A base hit could give the Blue Crabs a healthy 3-0 lead.
Yes, yeah, you get one just out there over the infield, get a drop in, and you got yourself up 2 more scores, and it all depends on where he's able to get the ball located, and hopefully DeLuca's got something in his pocket.
Around the Atlantic League, it's Gastonia with a 7-1 lead over High Point in the top of the 6th inning. Pitch, one's fouled off, deflects off of the catcher Peroni, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike now on DeLuca.
That matchup down there in North Carolina is a very good matchup. Gastonia and High Point are both 2 really good teams, and it's going to be. I think it's going to be a grind for both of those. Right now the score seems to be a little out, but I think it's going to be a grind for those 2 teams later on.
High Point, a good team. They've been a very streaky team this season. Can they catch fire at the right time? That's the real question for High Point, who started the second half 0-10, but responded well and had the 3rd best record overall. Pitch, a little up and away. Count was 1-2 prior. Now it's 2-2. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 1-0 Blue Crabs, but 2 in scoring position for Southern Maryland in the top of the 6th. Wolanski from third. It's Collier from second. A walk and a stolen base from the base runner. Oscar De La Cruz, the 2-2 pitch, swinging a line drive foul, third base side. That one's going to find the seats. Count remains 2-2. It puts a lot of pressure on a guy like Darrell Thompson when you're only scoring 1 run through 5 2/3.
That's very true. That's one of the big reasons why I think at the moment they really need to try to scratch across another run. Get yourself a little padding, to it. And as we said before, if you're able to scratch across 2, that makes it even better.
Couple of half swings from DeLuca as he goes through his batting routine. It's a lengthy one. Make sure he's ready as he bats from the left side against the righty, Oscar De La Cruz. 2-2 pitch. Fouled off yet again. Count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. 96 on the fastball from De La Cruz. Some serious heat behind that one.
And noticing how we're having 3 batters now in a row that are getting deep into counts. And this is going to be a defining factor whether or not that De La Cruz comes out for another inning later on if his pitch count gets any higher.
This will be number 80 from Oscar De La Cruz. Crowd making some noise. 2-2 pitch, foul back. A little bit off on that one, just 92 on the fastball. As Southern Maryland still with 2 in scoring position. Now 2 outs after David Harris unable to get the job done with the pop out toward third base. 1-0 Southern Maryland in the top of the 6th. Glad to have you with us on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. This crowd getting into it at Clipper Magazine Stadium. De La Cruz comes set. Here's the 2-2. Low and in, ball 3. Now if you walk DeLuca, you really don't want to face Chirino because he is that pure contact hitter, and with runners in scoring position, what do you want? You want contact.
Yeah, and I haven't seen too much of him because he's just getting here.
Right.
I saw a little bit over the weekend watching the YouTube feed and going from there. So I don't know too much about him yet, but he does sound like the type that is going to get some. He's going to try to get contact, and he's going to try to drive in runs.
8 consecutive seasons with a 300 batting average or better. 3-2 pitch runs low and in on DeLuca. It's ball 4 from Oscar De La Cruz. That is his second walk of the inning, and he has loaded the bases with 2 outs. You do have to wonder how much longer the leash is, and is that going to do it? It's Mark Mason who walks out to the mound. He looks toward his bullpen. He signals to the bullpen, and that will do it for Oscar De La Cruz. As he exits the game after throwing 91 pitches, he surrenders 4 hits. He walks 2, but you got to tip your cap to him. He had a pretty darn good outing.
It was a really good outing across the board, I can see why the Lancaster fans are giving him a good ovation, bringing a reliever to try to get these, try to make sure the damage doesn't get any higher.
We will step aside for the pitching change. The Blue Crabs have the bases loaded with 2 outs in the top of the 6th. They lead by 1. Don't go anywhere. We'll break down the numbers of the new pitcher when we come back. Now we are back in the top of the 6th inning. The new pitcher is Brandon Sittinger, who enters the ball game. It was Ross Peoples who made the call to the bullpen. I said Mark Mason pitch. Swinging a high fly ball foul, third baseline. We're not playing York. We are, in fact, playing the Barnstormers. It is Ross Peoples who made the call to the bullpen there. We saw Mark Mason not all that long ago in York. But we are playing Lancaster, and it is game 1 of the North Division Championship Series. Austin Rooney joined by Wes Mumper. Bases loaded for the Blue Crabs in the top of the 6th. Sittinger, who's played as high as the major league level, played with the Gwinnett Braves at the AAA level earlier this season. Pitch. That's a little low, count 1-1 against Santiago Chirino. And the numbers from Santiago Chirino in the regular season are quite good.
Oh, yes. Yeah. 368 batting average. Oh, that's that. I'm liking, where I see that, with what we have so far, and getting that contact. And he's fouling some pitches also. He's trying to get some healthy hacks on there, but You know, at some point we got to get it in play, you know, and get it to drop down where you.
1-1 pitch was fouled off. First base side, count 1-2. Now, Santiago Chirino has 8 consecutive years where he's hit 300 or better. It's unbelievable what he's been able to bring to the table here.
Oh, yes. That is actually really, really good numbers.
1-2 pitch, breaking ball upstairs, count 2-2. The last thing you can do now is Brandon Sittinger is walk him because now you're bringing in a run. That's the real negative with having the bases loaded now. There's a force at every base. That's the positive. The negative is you got nowhere to put Santiago Chirino.
Especially when you've got Walker, you know, waiting in the wings. You know, Walker, even though he's not been doing quite as good tonight, he's still a power hitter.
2-2 is inside, nearly hit him. Count 3-2. Well, that one maybe a couple inches away from clipping Santiago Chirino would have brought in a run. Well, it doesn't get much from this. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Base is loaded for the Blue Crabs. Wolanski on third, Collier on second, DeLuca on first. And the Blue Crabs' premier contact hitter at the plate was Santiago Chirino. Sittinger comes set of the belt. Here's the 3-2. Swinging a line drive, center field. It is the center fielder, Sandoval, who drifts back. The Blue Crabs win. They fed the run. They had a runner on third with 1 out. They had the bases loaded with 2 outs. Couldn't drive the run in as the Barnstormers somehow work out of that jam. A lengthy top of the 6th inning, but the Blue Crabs have nothing to show for it. It's 1-0 as we go to the bottom of the 6th.
That ball just hung up just enough to be able to get it, you know, just a little bit under. It would have dropped in. That would have scored at least 2 runs.
As Darrell Thompson will come back to the hill for the bottom of the 6th inning. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Blue Crabs Baseball on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Michael Baca, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. We were joined by Wes Mumper for the top of the 6th. We had Stevie Bowen here earlier. Now the first pitch is a called strike to Jake Hoover, and the count 0-1. No balls, 1 strike. Here is the 0-1. Pitch is fouled back, and the count 0-2 on Jake Hoover. 1-0 Blue Crabs. That run came back in the top of the 5th inning on a solo shot off the bat of Ryan Haug. Haug hit just 2 home runs in the course of the regular season, but he comes up with a big one here in Game 1 of the North Division Championship Series. 0-2 pitch, a little away, count 1 ball and 2 strikes. I will say about the Blue Crabs and what they've been able to do here, it's impressive, but you got to think, got a 1-run lead, and you're in the 6th inning, and you have a lot of thank yous to go to Darrell Thompson for keeping them in this position. As the 1-2 pitch is popped up foul, first baseline. 5+ innings of work, no runs on 1 hit, and no walks. A final line on Oscar De La Cruz, 5 2/3 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, a solo home run, the difference. 1-2 pitch upstairs from Thompson, count 2-2. It's Jake Hoover. He'll be followed by Trace Lair and Shawan Dunston Jr. 8, 9, and 1 to the plate. And the 2-2 pitch. Swinging a high fly ball. Well struck left center field. Is it going to find the gap, or is it going to stay up just a little too long as Zach Collier drifts to left center in front of the Army National Guard sign, and he makes the catch for the first down. 1 away now in the bottom of the 6th inning as Jake Hoover flies out to center field. Trace Lair will come to the plate. Lair digs that back left foot into the batter's box and digs in with 1 away. Lair will be followed by Shawan Dunston. 9 and 1 hitters. And the pitch is a called strike. Count 0-1. Just 1 base runner so far for the Barnstormers all game. It was a double off the bat of Melvin Mercedes to the right field side. Darryl Thompson through 5 1/3 has thrown 66 pitches. 0-1. Popped him up in foul territory. Have throws the mask off, but he's going to run out of room as it's going to fall right on top of our press box. And the count goes to no balls and 2 strikes on Trace Lair. 1-0 Blue Crabs in the bottom of the 6th inning. Game 1 in a 3 out of 5 game set between the Blue Crabs and the Barnstormers. Temperature at 69 degrees tonight. 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Trace Lair down swinging, a comfortable temperature tonight. Great day for baseball as Darryl Thompson fans another batter. It's his 5th strikeout of the evening. Through 5 2/3, it's Thompson who continues to fan batters tonight. 2 away in the bottom of the 6th inning as he closes in on 70 pitches. And here is Shawan Dunston Jr. First pitch shows bunt. He does bunt and bunts foul on the count 0-1. No balls, 1 strike, 2 outs as the leadoff hitter, Shawan Dunston Jr. gets a piece of a 91-mile-an-hour fastball from a Blue Crab starter, Darryl Thompson. He's talked about in the past, he'll top out at 91. He's not going to hit much higher than 91 miles an hour over the course of an evening, but a very, very consistent bat for the Barnstormers. And the 0-1 pitch, foul back, count 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. As Dunston taps home plate a few times. And the 0-2 offering. Ooh, really close, just a little off the outside corner. The count 1-2. Shawan Dunston flied out to right. He's flied out to left. The count 1-2 on him here. Here's the pitch from Thompson. Swinging a high fly ball, right field line. High, not all that deep, and that ball is going to find its way toward foul territory and out of play. And there are 2 away in the count, 1-2 on the batter Dunston. And the pitch, swinging a high pop-up in the infield. Darryl Thompson gives away for his infielder. It's the shortstop, Baca, who's under it and makes the catch for the final out. Well, that ends the 6th inning. It is the Lancaster Barnstormers who go down in order 1, 2, 3. We go to the top of the 7th. It's still 1-0 Southern Maryland of the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Nick Wells, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Come stay at the Holiday Inn Express Waldorf, where teamwork makes the dream work. A proud sponsor of the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs and your home away from home. The Holiday Inn Express is located at 11,370 Days Court. That's 11370 Days Court, Waldorf, near the Waldorf Shoppers World Shopping Center. Call 301-932-9200 to make a reservation or look us up at ihg.com or on the IHG app. Come put your feet up and enjoy the complimentary free breakfast and indoor heated pool at the Holiday Inn Express, Waldorf. Top of the seventh inning, first pitch to Jared Walker, a swing and a miss from Brandon Sittinger. And the count 0-1 on Darrell Thompson. It's 1-0 Blue Crabs in the top of the seventh inning. As the pitch from Sittinger, swing and a miss, count 0-2 now on Jared Walker. No balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. It will be Walker, followed by Haug and Baca, 7, 8, and 9 in the Blue Crabs batting order. 1 run on 4 hits for Southern Maryland. No runs on 1 hit for the Lancaster Barnstormers. And the 0-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. 94 blown by him, and there's 1 away. No action in the Blue Crabs bullpen, so the Blue Crabs have the option of going 7, 8, 9 with Law, Dykstra, and Briseño, or Baker, Dykstra, Briseño, whichever order they prefer. But based on the way that Darrell Thompson is pitching, Southern Maryland shows no interest in going in a different direction. I mean, the pitch count certainly low enough for him to continue at just 74 pitches. He's somebody who at this rate could go the complete game if the Blue Crabs want to go that direction. 0-1, the first pitch to Haug is popped up foul behind home plate, and the count 0-1. So do you want to go to a guy like Thompson in the 9th inning in that situation? Do you go to a guy like Briseño, who is your closer now? Those are questions that Blue Crabs manager Stan Clymer is going to have to ask himself, depending on the way that Darrell Thompson's pitching, that he might be a better bet to keep on going. It's whatever gives his team the best chance to win at this point. Popped up first base side. It is the first baseman. That's Andretti Cordero, who drifts over to the dugout and runs out of room. And the count 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes. And 1 away for Ryan Haug, who homered his last time up. Haug digs back in from the right side. Blue Crabs so far tonight have had 7 base runners, 4 batters with hits, 2 walks, a hit batsman. And Haug at the plate right now. He's the lone RBI, he's the lone run. He hit a home run back in the top of the 5th. 0-2 pitch, ground ball over to the shortstop side. And coming in is Hoover. The throw is off the mark. He fired to first. It was off target. Haug dove into first base to avoid the tag and gets in there safely, as now he's trying to shake out his arm
as that's clearly in some pain as he dove to the ground to try to get to first base, and he is in safely. It's a 1-out infield single for Ryan Haug, who sprinted down the line, showed some heart, showed some guts, and picked up an infield single here in the top of the 7th inning. Blue Crabs trainer Lauren Eck on the top step of the dugout, leaning on the railing. I don't think she's going to go out and talk with Haug, as he appears to be all right. As we have a brief timeout. Well, it looks like the Blue Crabs trainer Lauren Eck's going to stay right where she is. And over on first base, it's Ryan Haug. Puts that sliding glove on. And here comes Michael Baca against Brandon Sittinger, the former big leaguer. Part of the Diamondbacks back in 2021. Sittinger, pitch, line drive, left field, base hit. Bounces once in front of the left fielder, Chris Proctor. A single for Michael Baca. It's his first hit of the ball game. Back-to-back singles for the Blue Crabs. And they have 2 on and 1 out for the top of the order. And here comes Jack Sundberg. Sundberg will come to the plate with 1 out and runners on first and second. It's Michael Wolanski on deck. Blue Crabs now with 1 run on 6 hits tonight. So finally the hits are coming. The Blue Crabs had a total of 11 hits across the 3 games in that weekend series against Lancaster that ended just 2 days ago. 4 hits on Friday, 2 on Saturday, 5 on Sunday. Blue Crabs have 6 hits so far tonight on Tuesday evening. Pitch called a little away, and it's ball 1 on Sundberg. I thought that might be a strike, but the home plate umpire, Buzz Albert, said a little away. Count 1-0. So runners on first and second. An infield single from Haug, a single to left by Baca. Pitch, line drive, foul back behind home plate. Count 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, fans, we appreciate your tuning in tonight. The latter innings in Game 1 of the North Division Championship Series. Got to find a way to drive in runners in scoring position. And the 1-1 pitch. Line drive foul, count 1 and 2. Raul Shaw mentioned he'll be back in a couple of days after Great Britain won the World Baseball Classic qualifier in the winners bracket. 3 games, 3 wins, they move on. David Johnson said great home run from Ryan Haug, watching from Bryan's Road, Maryland. Looking forward to the game on Friday night. Melanie Putnam, a heck of a hit from her cousin, Ryan Haug. And Southern Maryland's FCA saying, good group of Blue Crabs fans here along the third base dugout side. Alfredo Mendoza, a home run from Haug. And he's going to try to drive to Lancaster tomorrow. Well, Alfredo, we hope to see you here. Dylan Huff says, go Blue Crabs baseball. Ginger Franklin, as the brief meeting at the mound between Anthony Peroni and Brandon Sittinger. Mentioning High West, go Blue Crabs, and Donnie Geeky said Haug came to leave it all out in the field. That's heart. Love that guy, and you do have to love the effort that Ryan Haug is putting in on the diamond. 1-2 pitch upcoming to Jack Sundberg. Here's the offering. Line drive foul, third base side, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes it remains. Now Sittinger's been pounding the strike zone. And he's run into a little trouble as a result, with runners on first and second with 1 out. One ball, 2 strikes, 1 away. Sundberg at the plate. Sittinger, the former big leaguer. Has to deal with him, and runners on first and second. Pitch, breaking ball, strike 3. Sundberg goes down on strikes, and there are 2 away. 2 outs in the top of the 7th. The Blue Crabs are going to need Michael Wolanski to come through for the Blue Crabs. Wolanski is 1 for 2 tonight. Also hit by a pitch back in the first. The 4-6-3 double play in the 3rd inning. A triple last inning. That was back in the 6th. Put a runner on 3rd with 1 out. The Blue Crabs would later load the bases, but Harris couldn't drive him in with 1 out and a runner on 1st and 3rd. He popped up to 3rd. A walk from DeLuca, and Santiago Chirino lined out to center field. Pitch is a called strike to Michael Wolanski, who looks back at Buzz Albert. He's not a fan of the call, but it's a strike nonetheless. Runners on 1st and 2nd with 2 outs. An infield single from Ryan Howe. Single to left from Michael Baca. It's playoff time. The Blue Crabs looking to get a major hit here. 1-2, or 0-1 I should say. Check swing was way low in the dirt. Managed to hold up. It was not even close. And the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Oh, big for Wolanski to hold up there on that swing. It was way low and away in the dirt. One ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. 1-1 pitch. Low and away, count 2-1. All these pitches have been very close. Give you an idea on some velocity from tonight's ball game. Oster de la Cruz topped out at 96.8 miles an hour. Sittinger's hit 96.5, so some real heavy heat on some of these pitches. Thompson, meanwhile, has topped out at 91.1 miles per hour. Pitch is low and away. Count 3 balls and 1 strike now on Wolanski. Three balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. And the 3-1 offering. Swing and a miss. High heat. Wolanski wanted all of that pitch. And the count 3-2. Three balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runners on 1st and 2nd for Southern Maryland. Wolanski at the plate. Brandon Sittinger comes set on the rubber. Here is a 3-2 pitch. Runners in motion, popped it up foul behind home plate. Count remains 3-2. As Sittinger, who touches the rosin bag, is going to step back on the rubber. Sittinger comes set. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Runners in motion. Swinging a high fly ball. Right field. This is down the line. It is the right fielder in the corner. Shawan Dunston makes the catch for the final out. That ball was skied down the 3rd baseline. Nearly found its way out of the ballpark. But it's the right fielder Dunston who makes the catch for the final out. That ends the top of the 7th inning. The Blue Crabs put runners on base again here in the 6th, but cannot cash in. We go to the bottom of the 7th. The Blue Crabs have a 1-0 lead. It's Darryl Thompson back to the mound. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Blue Crabs Baseball on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. North Division Championship Game 1. It's 1-0 Blue Crabs. The first pitch is a called strike to Melvin Mercedes in the bottom of the 7th. The lone run in this ball game comes courtesy of Ryan Haug back in the top of the 5th inning on a solo home run off the foul pole and left. The 0-1 offering. Swinging a ground ball over towards second base. It's fielded by Wolanski. The toss to first in plenty of time. And there is one away in the bottom of the 7th inning. And here comes Andretti Cordero. So far, Darrell Thompson, 6 1/3 innings, 1 hit, no runs, no walks. It's been that kind of an evening from the Blue Crab starter. 76 pitches, 59 strikes for the righty. Here is the first pitch to Andretti Cordero. Big wave and a miss. Count 0-1 on a breaking ball that time from Darrell Thompson. Wasn't a ton of break on it, but enough downward movement there that it fooled Cordero. 0-1 now. Fastball, swinging a high fly ball, well struck, deep right center field. It's Collier back. He's at the warning track in front of the wall. He makes the catch. 2 up and 2 down. A couple of well-hit balls right off the bat, but both are tracked down. First by the second baseman Wolanski, this time by the Blue Crabs center fielder Zach Collier, and there are 2 away in the bottom of the 7th inning. And it is Trayvon Robinson who will dig in from the left side. Blue Crabs 1 run on 6 hits. For the Barnstormers, no runs on 1 hit. In the bottom of the 6th, here is the first pitch from Thompson. It's low, count 1 ball and no strikes on the lefty. Robinson will be followed by Ariel Sandoval if necessary. The only one with a hit in this ball game is Melvin Mercedes. And the pitch now to Robinson. Popped up foul, third base side. That one's going to find the seats. Count 1 ball and 1 strike. The Blue Crabs can finish this game theoretically without having to face either Mercedes or Cordero again. They'd have to set down these batters in order, but the way Blue Crabs starter Darrell Thompson's pitching, he's got a shot at doing that. He's got 10 consecutive outs after starting the game with 10 consecutive outs. See if he can beat that first streak he had to start the game. 1-1 pitch, ground ball foul, first base side. Count 1 and 2 now on Trayvon Robinson. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. We're glad to have everybody join us here on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network for Game 1 of the North Division Championship Series between the Blue Crabs and the Barnstormers. Southern Maryland had an 84-48 record to finish the regular season. 1-2 pitch up and away, count 2-2. The Barnstormers were forced to forfeit that last game that they decided not to play, but they had already won the division, so it did not matter. And meanwhile, the Lancaster Barnstormers finished 72-60 on the year. For the second half, they were 44-22. Blue Crabs 35-30 in the second half. 2-2 pitch from Thompson, breaking ball, line drive, left field. That's going to drop for a base hit. It's Sundberg who plays it and fires into the second baseman, Michael Wolanski, but a 2-out single from Trayvon Robinson. So again, Thompson retires 10 straight. He allows a double. Thompson retires 10 straight. He allows a single. That's all the damage that's been done so far. And the attendance here in Lancaster just a shade over 3,300, and what is it? A really packed crowd for a Wednesday night, or Tuesday night, I should say. Wednesday's tomorrow. But the Blue Crabs, no action in the bullpen quite yet after allowing merely 1 hit. As the Blue Crabs pitching coach himself looks back the runner on first base, that's Trayvon Robinson. It's be pitch number 84. And it's a high fastball, count 1 ball and no strikes. Not the best hit ball all day on that single from Trayvon Robinson, just 87 miles per hour. That ball from Andretti Cordero was hit 347 feet to the gap in right center, but tracked down by Blue Crabs by Collier. Pitch swinging a high fly ball. Right field rather deep. It's Walker. He's back at the warning track at the wall. He makes the catch in front of the CV Youth Baseball and Softball side in right field. He tracks it down. That one just a couple of feet from the wall in right. It nearly tied the game. It nearly gave the Barnstormers the lead. Instead, it ends the bottom of the 7th inning. It's 1-0 Blue Crabs. We go to the top of the 8th inning in Game 1 of the North Division Championship Series. Don't go anywhere. The Blue Crabs still on top 1-0 on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Michael Baca, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
It's Zach Collier who will dig in from the left side. It is 3, 4, and 5 in the Blue Crabs batting order. As we get things going in the top of the 8th inning. First pitch, fastball a little bit away from the lefty Cam Boozer in the count. 1 ball and no strikes. This is a very consistent Lancaster bullpen from top to bottom. There's no one in this bullpen who is unbelievable. They don't have their Darryl Thompson. They don't even really have a guy with an ERA under 2, and someone like Baker or someone like Dykstra is the 1-0 pitch. A check swinging went around though, and the count 1-1. 98, some serious heat from Cam Boozer. The count 1-1. So they don't have anybody who's really going to blow you away with their velocity or blow you away with their numbers, but the velocity is pretty high from really everybody involved in that bullpen. And the pitch now from Boozer is low, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike. Yeah, first pitch at 97 on a sinker. Count 2 balls and 1 strike now on Zach Collier. 2-1 pitch. Tap foul behind home plate, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. So Collier, Harris, and DeLuca. Collier is 0 for 2 with a walk. Harris is 0 for 3, but anyone's due for a hit, it's him. Joe DeLuca is 1 for 2 with a walk tonight. Another guy you look at is Santiago Chirino, who does not have a hit yet. Hit the ball hard a couple of times, including the line out to center field. And the pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Collier down swinging. And there is one away in the top of the 8th inning. They've talked about giving the Blue Crabs starter Daryl Thompson some room to work, but has not been the case yet tonight.
Designated hitter David Harris.
We've also talked about strikeouts. How important are strikeouts or not striking out for the Blue Crabs? It's the 7th time tonight the Blue Crabs have struck out. Not terrible. I mean, over the course of 7 to 3rd innings, 7 strikeouts for a team. I mean, you'd like it to be maybe 5 or 6, but 7's not bad. You're on track to strike out fewer than 10 times in the ballgame. Pitch is low, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. They're hitting the ball today. They've even compiled 6 hits. It's driving in runners with scoring position, 0 for 5 in that category. And that is a major reason why they are struggling tonight. And the pitch to Harris, line drive, down the 3rd base line. It's a fair ball, and Harris is going to go to 2nd base. They're going to stop play. A double down the 3rd base line. It really close as whether that was a fair ball or a foul ball. From my angle, I thought they were going to call it foul, but a fair ball called by the 3rd base umpire, Federico de Jesus. Some fans in front of me saying that should be a foul ball. It was close, really close, about as razor thin as the margins are going to be on that line drive down the 3rd base line. And now there's going to be a meeting at the mound, I'd imagine. Oh no, it's going to be an argument over at 3rd base, as the Lancaster Barnstormers manager Ross Peoples is going to come out to have a chat with Federico de Jesus and say, hey, I think that ball is foul. There's nothing you can really do about it other than have a conversation with the home plate umpire, Buzz Albert. Again, from my vantage point, it looked like may have been a foul ball. And I guess the umpires are going to convene now. You can't really overturn this call, though. I would be stunned if the 4 umpires coming together decide that was a foul ball. Now, again, it looked from my angle like it was probably a foul ball, but the idea you're going to overturn a call from the 3rd base umpire who was right there on top of it and say, no, it was a foul ball, fair ball, or he calls it a fair ball and they call it a foul ball. I've got a hard time believing they're going to do that. I mean, I think the question is how clearly did Federico de Jesus see it, because he was trying to get out of the way at the same time he made the call. But for now, a runner on 2nd base and 1 out. I would imagine that Stan Clyburn would have been extremely upset had they overturned it, but they decide nope, they're going to stick with the call they have on the field. Runner on 2nd base and 1 out. I think it's probably the same idea from some of the other umpires. Said, look, within margin, you can't really tell whether it's a fair ball or a foul ball from their vantage point. So you go with whatever they've got. And a runner on 2nd. It's David Harris with 1 out in the top of the 8th inning as he roped a double down the left field line, ended up going toward the bullpen area. The pitch is low, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. 1 run on 7 hits for the Blue Crabs tonight. For Lancaster, no runs on 2 hits. As Cam Boozer allows a 2-out double to David Harris, or 1-out double, I should say. Joe DeLuca at the plate, batting from the right side. The switch hitter, who's at 1st base tonight, pitch low, count 2-0. He's 1 for 2 today with a walk. And it's Santiago Chirino who is on deck. We talk about David Harris being due for a hit. He's now 1 for 4 in the ball game. Santiago Chirino 0 for 3 tonight. A terrific contact hitter. Another guy who, I say, oh, he's a little due for a hit. Pitch. Call a strike on the inside corner. It was borderline. But the home plate umpire, Buzz Albert, says it's a called strike, count 2-1. Just hit the inside corner and right at the lower part of the strike zone. DeLuca 1 for 2 with a walk so far today. Count 2-1 now on the switch hitter who bats from the right side. Here's the pitch. A little low and in, count 3-1. Some fans wanted that call, weren't going to get it from Buzz Albert. 3 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Top of the 8th inning. Blue Crabs with 7 hits tonight. 7 for 28 with 1 run scored. RBI, they've got a couple of walks to show for it and a hit batsman. 10 total base runners tonight. 3-1. Called strike, count 3-2. That one comes in right at the knees. It was middle, but it was middle at the knees, and DeLuca has watched 5 pitches cross. 3 for balls, 2 for strikes. It's the top of the 8th inning, 1-0 Blue Crabs. Runner on second base, it's Harris following the 1-out double. Boozer, the 3-2. Foul back behind home plate, a healthy hack from Joe DeLuca on a fastball that touched 98 on the radar gun out in center field. That radar gun has been a couple of ticks higher than the TrackMan fastball, which had it at 97 as opposed to 98. But either way, some serious heat on that fastball from Cam Boozer. Three balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Pitch. Called strike 3. A breaking ball freezes Joe DeLuca. And there are 2 away. A really big pitch from Cam Boozer. It freezes DeLuca for the 2nd out. There's no readjusting when you're looking fastball, looking fastball, looking fastball. He's throwing 5 fastballs and sends you a breaking ball out of the blue and a slider and cut back toward the plate. Nothing that DeLuca could do there. Really, really good pitch from Cam Boozer. And here comes Santiago Chirino. Believe me, if the Blue Crabs could try to buy another run, they'll send Harris around. Pitch upstairs, count 1-0. It's a line drive to left, let's say, and a bang-bang play to the plate. Believe me, the Blue Crabs will do anything here to try to scratch across that 2nd run. 1 run for Darryl Thompson to work with across the 8th and the 9th is just not fair to the righty or this bullpen, if need be. 1-0 to Chirino. Popped up foul, first base side. It's going to find its way into the seats in the count 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs, top of the 8th inning. In the North Division Championship, Game 1. We appreciate everybody joining us for tonight's matchup. Base paths are empty with 2 outs, or beg your pardon, runner on second with 2 outs. Pitches up and away, count 2-1. Double from David Harris with 1 out. For DeLuca went down looking. That is the 8th time a Blue Crabs batter has gone down on strikes tonight. Chirino at the plate. Count 2 balls and a strike on the righty with Jared Walker on deck. 2-1 pitch to Chirino. Called strike, hard fastball. Outside corner, count 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs on Santiago Chirino. 0 for 3 tonight. He's a guy who is about as strong of a contact hitter as you're going to get. If anyone's due for a hit, it's him. DeLuca was 0 for, I beg your pardon, it was Harris who was 0 for 3 before his double. Now Chirino trying to follow suit. 2-2 pitch, ground ball slowly to third base. Lair charges in, he fires to first. Not a great throw, but Cordero able to handle it for the final out. Cam Boozer allows a 1-out double. He works out of it. The Blue Crabs score none. They strand 1 at the end of 7.5 innings of play. It's 1-0 Blue Crabs. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Blue Crabs Baseball on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Ryan Haug, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Well, it'll be 6, 7, and 8 in the Lancaster batting order here in the bottom of the 8th inning. First pitch to Chris Proctor, a little bit away in the count, 1 ball and no strikes. 89 on the fastball from Darryl Thompson. 1-0 Blue Crabs. That lone run scored back in the 5th inning. Solo shot from Ryan Haug. 1-0 pitch. Swinging a high fly ball, left field line, foul territory. Santiago Chirino gives chase. That one falls about 6 rows deep. It's the count, 1 ball and 1 strike on Chris Proctor. Proctor followed by Anthony Peroni and Jake Hoover in a 1-run ball game. Not only is it a 1-run ball game, it's a 1-0 ball game in the bottom of the 8th inning. Thompson has thrown 87 pitches across 7+ innings. 1-1 pitch. Swinging a line drive to left. Well struck, but Sundberg drifts a little back and a little toward the line and makes the catch. There's 1 away in the bottom of the 8th inning. A terrific play out in the left by Jack Sundberg to read that ball off the bat on a rather well-struck line drive. And there is 1 out for Anthony Peroni, who will dig in from the right side. The Blue Crabs with a 1-run lead. They have 1 run on 7 hits for Lancaster, no runs on 2 hits. Blue Crabs with 10 base runners, Lancaster with just 2. And the first pitch misses, a little away to Anthony Peroni. Count 1 ball and no strikes. And now the 1-0. Popped up foul behind home plate. That one finds the seats in the count, 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Well, fans, free to comment in the YouTube chat here as we find the later innings in this ball game. 1-1 pitch to Thompson. Bunt down the third baseline, hits the lip and goes foul. And Santiago Chirino is going to boot that one over toward the Blue Crabs dugout. Ball's not coming back in fair territory. He's not going to bend down and pick it up either. A little bit of soccer action from Santiago Chirino. Chirino hails from Venezuela, Punto Fijo, Venezuela. Venezuela, I believe they're headed to the World Cup in November into December. 1-2 pitch. Swing a high pop up. It's Santiago Chirino who gives chase yet again. He calls off Ryan Haug in foul territory, makes the catch. And Haug gives a bit of a pat on the back, says, well done, my friend, 2 away. in the bottom of the 8th inning. And do we have a pinch hitter coming up for Anderson, or for Jake Hoover? It's Anderson Feliz who comes to the plate. Well, you cannot overstate what Jake Hoover did in today's ball game. An outstanding catch on a ball headed toward left center field off the bat of Zach Collier, robbing a base hit back in the 3rd inning. You never know what happens there. And the first pitch to Feliz. Swing a high fly ball, left field, more or less straight away for Sundberg, who makes the catch chest high. 1, 2, 3, go the Barnstormers in the bottom of the 8th inning. It's the Blue Crabs 1, it's Lancaster nothing. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Blue Crabs Baseball on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Alex Crosby, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
At Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, mortgages are what they do, not who they are. Fairway Mortgage Corporation is a proud partner of the American Warrior Initiative. A key part of this initiative is to educate, encourage, and inspire Americans to give back to our military. Visit their website at www.americanwarriorinitiative.com for more details. Our military fought to protect the American dream. Let's help them live it.
Well, it's 1-0. We go to the top of the 9th inning. The Blue Crabs have a 1-0 lead. It's West Tunnel who's going to try to keep the Blue Crabs at bay here in the 9th as they send 7, 8, and 9 to the plate. Jared Walker followed by Ryan Haug and Michael Baca. Tunnel. First pitch to Jared Walker is low in the count, 1 ball and no strikes. Well, the Blue Crabs have a decision to make in the bottom of the 9th inning. Do you go to Briseño? Do you go to Thompson? It's a real question the Blue Crabs and Stan Clyburn will have to answer. 1-0 pitch. Foul back in the count. 1 ball and 1 strike. In some sense, it's a good problem to have. You have 2 pitchers who you can rely upon very heavily in this situation. It's either Darrell Thompson, who's gone 8 scoreless innings, allowing 2 hits and no walks. Do you send him back out there for the 9th? Or do you go with your closer, Andres Briseño? Now, a worry here is that we'll get there after the 1-1 pitch. Called strike, count 1 and 2. Briseño's been incredibly good, but in a ballpark like this with the short porch in right field, if a Lancaster Barnstormers batter mishits it, given the velocity, there's a chance that ball just sails out in right field for a home run. Thompson, given the lack of velocity, you're probably not going to turn it around in the same way if you mishit it. So we'll have to see the decision that Stan Clyburn makes in a one-run game. Pitch away, count 2-2. Well, the batters that will come to the plate for the Barnstormers, it will be 9-1-2, Lair, Dunston, and Mercedes. Melvin Mercedes and Trayvon Robinson, the only two with hits in this ball game. And if one of them gets a base hit, then you got to deal with Andretti Cordero. 2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out on Jared Walker. Check swing to go. They motion down to third. He did not, according to Federico de Jesus. And the count, 3 balls and 2 strikes now on Jared Walker. Top of the 9th inning, 1-0 Blue Crabs. That run comes all the way back in the 5th inning. It's been an incredible pitcher's duel tonight. Oscar De La Cruz, a starter for Lancaster. Pitch on the ground over towards second base. Melvin Mercedes fields, he gathers, he fires, it's in time, and there is one away. Back to Oscar De La Cruz. The right-handed pitcher went 5 2/3 innings. He allowed 4 hits, he allowed 1 run. It was that solo shot, and that was it. Blue Crabs, 1 run on 7 hits and 10 base runners. From there, Brandon Sittinger went an inning and a third, allowed 2 hits. He struck out 2. Cam Boozer went an inning. He allowed 1 hit. He struck out 2. And here is West Tunnel. For Ryan Howe, 2 for 3 today. He was 3 for 4 on Sunday. Pitch low in the dirt, count 1-0. Ryan Howe homered off the foul pole in left field, a 320-foot foul pole down the line. Tunnel gets a sign from the catcher, Anthony Peroni. And the pitch low. Count 2 balls and no strikes. 2 balls, no strikes, 1 out. Haug ahead in the count, 2-0. He'll be followed by Baca and then Sundberg here in the top of the 9th. Can the Blue Crabs rally against West Tunnel? That's the question. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Line drive, left field, base hit. It's Haug's 3rd hit of the night. A home run and a couple of singles for the Blue Crabs catcher, who has broken out in a big way in the last 2 games. And he is 3 for 4 tonight. Three for 4, a home run, an RBI, a run scored. That's the givens once you have that home run. As Michael Baca will dig in with 1 away in the top of the 9th inning. Now if you're Ryan Howe, you're going to try to run on this pitch. Do you want to put a runner in scoring position with 1 out? Give a couple guys a chance to drive you in. Pitch, foul back. Count 0-1. Now the Blue Crabs, this is encouraging in the situation they find themselves in, but you got to look down the road and say, you got to start driving some runners in. Everyone's not going to be able to give you 8 innings and 2 hits. Lamson's been good recently, but I mean, it's a lot to ask someone to say, oh, go out there and throw 8 innings, allow 2 hits tonight. No runs. That's what Darryl Thompson's done tonight. You don't know if the evening's over or not. Pitch, that's away. Count 1-1. Andres Briseño is not up and throwing. He is stretching out. Should Thompson, I'd imagine, allow a single hit here in the 9th, the move would be to go to Briseño, but they're going to try to ride, it looks like, Thompson to the finish line here. 1-1 pitch, runner goes, swinging a line drive, center field, base hit. Haug from second to third, throw a little bit late, and it skitters away from the third baseman, Trace Lair, but he's on top of it. Runners on first and third. No, Baca takes off for second on the throw, so runners on second and third with one out, and the Blue Crabs with an opportunity to put this ball game away here with a hit here in the ninth inning. 2 in scoring position, 1 out for Jack Sundberg. Following the strikeout to Jared Walker, a single from Haug and a single from Baca. The hit and run was on, and Haug from first to third. Baca from first to second on the throw to third base. So runners on second and third with 1 out. The infield is in, and Jack Sundberg at the plate. He's 1 for 5, a critical opportunity against the lefty Sundberg. Pitch. That's a little away, or for the lefty Sundberg, I should really say. And the count 1 ball and no strikes. 95 from West Tunnel, a little bit away. Now, he is a guy, West Tunnel's a guy who's going to make things heart-throbbing for the Lancaster Barnstormers. He does this night in and night out, and he works out of these jams like clockwork. Can he do it again here in the North Division Championship Series? 1-0 pitch, foul back, count 1-1. For the Blue Crabs, 1 run on 9 hits tonight. This is a Blue Crabs team that had 11 hits across games 1 through 3 of that weekend set. 4 hits on Friday, 2 on Saturday, 5 on Sunday. Tonight they've got 9, but the real difference is that the Blue Crabs, they may have 9 hits, but only 1 run to show for it. 1-1 to Sundberg, up and away, count 2-1. Now, you put Sundberg on base. You do have a force at every base, but then you bring up a guy like Michael Wolanski. Runners on second and third. Do you want to put a guy like Sundberg on base? Here's the pitch. Ground ball, first base line just foul. Oh, what a score to pair. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Top of the 9th inning. It's the Blue Crabs 1. It's the Barnstormers nothing. What a ball game. I don't think normally people get excited about a 1-0 pitcher's duel, but this is a nail biter. This one's got you on the edge of your seat. Can the Blue Crabs drive in a run while they're at it? Maybe 2. They've got 2 in scoring position with 1 out. So far, Southern Maryland has been unable to get the job done with runners in scoring position. 0 for 7 to this point. 2-2 pitch. Swinging a high fly ball, left field, somewhat deep. Proctor back. He makes the catch. Haug's going to attack from third. The throw comes into the third baseman, Lair. They don't have a play at the plate. A run scores. It's Ryan Haug from third. The Blue Crabs have a 2-0 lead in the top of the 9th inning. It's Jack Sundberg who gets the job done, and the Blue Crabs have all of a sudden doubled their lead. It's 2-0 Southern Maryland. Wow. It's not a base hit, but it gets the job done. The Blue Crabs scratch across a run in the top of the 9th inning, courtesy of Jack Sundberg, who drives in. The runner from third base, Ryan Haug, who's been all over the score sheet tonight. 3 for 4, 2 runs scored, including a solo home run off of the left field foul pole. Well, here is Michael Wolanski with a runner on second and 2 outs. Tunnel, the pitch. Well, it's called strike on a breaking ball. Looked a little low, but the count is 0-1. I think the curveball a little bit deceptive in that point as Peroni caught the ball below the zone, but when it crossed home plate, it was still in the strike zone. Baca on second, 2 outs, pitch to Wolanski, big wave and a miss, 97 high heat, and West Tunnel throws it by him. West Tunnel has been the closer for the Barnstormers at times this year, and he's managed to get the job done more often than not, but he's oftentimes allowed runs in the process, and he allows a run tonight as he tried to keep the Blue Crabs at bay. 0-2 to Wilansky. A little up and in, count 1 and 2. Wilansky on the day, 1 for 3. He had a triple. That came back in the 6th inning, but the Blue Crabs couldn't drive a run in with runners on the corners and 1 out. Southern Maryland, 2 runs on 9 hits tonight. One-two pitch upcoming from West Tunnel. It's inbound. Check swing, did he go? Yeah, he did. Wilansky went around. He clearly did that time on a breaking ball. And that ends the top of the 9th inning. Wilansky, what a challenge. And he said he's looking down to the first base umpire. The first base umpire said, you went, so it doesn't matter. And that ends the top of the 9th inning. And the Blue Crabs strand 1, but they score 1. They have a 2-0 lead as we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. It's Daryl Thompson who trots back to the mound. Can he get the complete game? Can he give the Blue Crabs game 1 of the North Division Championship Series? We're going to the bottom of the 9th. Don't go anywhere. It's all coming up next on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. Bottom of the 9th inning, the Blue Crabs picked up an all-important insurance run on the top of the 9th. They lead this one 2-0 as Trace Laird comes to the plate. He bats from the left side against Daryl Thompson, who's gone 8 innings, 2 hits, and no runs. First pitch called strike, count 0-1. Can Daryl Thompson repeat what he did on bobblehead night the first weekend in September? A complete game shutout. He allowed just 2 hits that night. He did walk 1, hasn't walked 1 yet tonight. And can he repeat what he did just then? Pitch, ground ball over to first, fielded by DeLuca. He'll take it to the bag himself. There's 1 away in the bottom of the 9th inning. And Sean Dunston Jr. will come to the plate with 1 out in the bottom of the 9th inning. Daryl Thompson's thrown 95 pitches across 8 1/3. It's the Blue Crabs closer. That's Andres Briseño, who is warming right now for the Blue Crabs. Up and throwing with Mike Falsetti, the Blue Crabs bullpen catcher down the left field line. Here's the first pitch to Shawan Dunston. That's low in the count, 1 ball and no strikes. Base paths are empty as Daryl Thompson has been rolling so far in this ball game. Had 2 separate stints where he retired 10 straight, but I think the leash is very short here in the 9th inning as the pitch is low in the dirt, count 2 balls and no strikes. I think something as small as a walk would probably do it for Daryl Thompson. I'll tell you this much, I don't think that Stan Clyburn is playing games here in the bottom of the 9th inning up 2 runs. In game 1 of this series, pitch up and away, count 3-0. For the first time tonight, it's Daryl Thompson behind in the count, 3 balls and no strikes. This will be pitch number 99 for the righty. And here is a 3-0. That's a called strike, count 3-1. Outside half, but it catches the plate, and Shawan Dunston does motion to the home plate umpire, Buzz Albert. Motion's a little high. He's like, that's a strike? And he says, yep, it's a strike. And the pitch, line drive, first base side, foul off the bat of Shawan Dunston Jr. Now keep in mind who's on deck. This is what's important now for the Lancaster Barnstormers. 3-2 on Dunston. Melvin Mercedes, who doubled earlier in this ball game, on deck. Then it's Andretti Cordero to follow. Cordero, according to some in this league, is the MVP. Hit .338 regular season, homered in each of the games over the weekend. 3-2 pitch. Upstairs, ball four. For the first time tonight, Daryl Thompson has walked the batter. Let's see, is Stan Clyburn going to go to the mound and make that pitching change with one on and one out here in the ninth inning? Or does he stick with his guy?
Second baseman Melvin Mercedes.
It's the first walk that Daryl Thompson has surrendered tonight. And the pitch. Strike on Melvin Mercedes. Fastball down Broadway, count 0-1. Now I think the point that a couple of people have made, and it's a good one, is if you go away from Thompson and go to Briseño, the velocity Briseño brings to the equation may have a negative effect in some way given the short porch in right field. That wall is just a touch over 300, and that's in regular right field, not down the line. Down the line's shorter than 300 likely. Pitch to Mercedes, called strike two, and the count 0-2 on Melvin Mercedes, who's not a fan of the call from Buzz Albert, the home plate umpire. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. 2-0 Blue Crabs in the bottom of the ninth inning with Shawan Dunston Jr. on first base, reaching via the walk. Meanwhile, Andretti Cordero doesn't get much bigger than that at the plate. You've got likely pitcher of the year in Daryl Thompson against a player who has a good chance at not winning the player of the year. He's at least the team MVP for the Lancaster Barnstormers. Count 0-2 on Melvin Mercedes, who's 1 for 3 tonight with that double off the wall in right. One of only 2 hits tonight for Lancaster. 0-2 pitch. Breaking ball, strike 3, struck him out. Big time strikeout for Daryl Thompson, went low and away and got a swing from Mercedes. They're 2 outs. 1 out away, but we mentioned this just moments ago. Andretti Cordero, Lancaster team MVP versus Blue Crabs team MVP. 2-0 Southern Maryland, but Cordero is the tying run. He's 0 for 3 tonight, though. And again, some people were considering Cordero for Player of the Year honor. That likely will go to Courtney Hawkins due to the 48 home runs. Pitch, swinging a high fly ball, right field line, not all that well hit. Long run for Jared Walker. It's going to tail foul and into the seats in the count 0-1. Oh, looked like for a moment there that Walker might be able to track that ball down and give the Blue Crabs game 1 of this series. Daryl Thompson will throw pitch number 106 to Andretti Cordero. That's how many he threw in the complete game shutout last time around. This time, breaking ball, swing and a miss. That was outstanding. And the count 0-2. Runner on first base, it's Shawan Dunston Jr. 2 outs. Count 0-2. Pitch. Swinging a line drive, right center field. Long run for Collar. That ball is off the wall. Couple guys running after it. 1 run will score. Shawan Dunston comes in. The throw to second. It's an RBI double for Andretti Cordero. And that might do it for Daryl Thompson here in the ninth, as an RBI double from Andretti Cordero has made this a 1-run game. It's Andres Briseño warming up in the bullpen. Let's see, is that going to do it for Darrell Thompson? As Andres Briseño has been throwing for the last 10 minutes or so. It's now a 2-1 ball game as Cordero goes off the wall in left center. And all of a sudden, this ball game is very different. Andres Briseño walks in from the bullpen. He hasn't gotten the call yet. And now there is. There is the call as Stan Clyburn makes the call to the bullpen. It's Briseño who will enter. The man with the 0.77 ERA to end the regular season will enter for the Blue Crabs. He needs 1 out. There's a runner on second base with 2 outs. Don't go anywhere. It doesn't get much more intense than this. 2 outs. Bottom of the 9th inning. It's 2-1 Blue Crabs, and their closer, Andres Briseño, will enter the ball game. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Blue Crabs Baseball on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. Well, it is Andres Briseño who enters this ball game, who posted a 0.76 earned run average across the regular season. It's the guy who throws some gas, 96 to 98 on the fastball. Has not pitched since September 14th against Long Island when he went an inning of work. He did not allow a hit, did not allow a walk, did not allow a base runner, and he struck out 1 in the process. His numbers across the regular season: 47 2/3 innings. He allowed just 4 earned runs, 20 hits. He walked 19, and he struck out 73 batters across 47 innings, which is an average of more than 1.5 strikeouts per inning. Well, Briseño doesn't need to go an inning. He needs to get 1 out, but the problem is there's a runner on second base. That's Andretti Cordero, who got the best of Darrell Thompson in his 4th at-bat, going the other way with a line drive. Now, the worry here for Briseño is that short porch and right. We've been harping on it a lot. The high velocity could create a harder hit line drive to left field, to right field. That's all you need here at this ballpark. A weak fly ball to right can get out of the ballpark. Trayvon Robinson at the plate. He's 1 for 3 today. He'll face off against Andres Briseño. We said he'll go 96 to 98. Let's see when this first fastball comes in. It's a breaking ball, in fact, a slider at 84, and it paints the outside corner in the count 0-1. No balls, 1 strike, and 2 outs. Briseño did not pitch in that last series against Lancaster. That was intentional from Stan Clyburn. He didn't want to show his best piece in that last series. 0-1 pitch. Fastball blew him away, and the count 0-2. That fastball, not quite as much heat on, just 93 from Briseño. We've seen him touch, again, 96 to 98 is where he normally sits. Nope, our TrackMan had that at 96. The scoreboard had that at 93. So 96 on that fastball from Andres Briseño. Here is the 0-2 pitch. Swinging a line drive foul back behind home plate. Count remains 0-2 as Trayvon Robinson touches the 97-mile-an-hour heater from Andres Briseño. Runner on second base, 2 outs. 2-1 Blue Crabs. The tying run in scoring position for Lancaster. It doesn't get much more exciting than this. The Blue Crabs trying to win Game 1 of the North Division Championship Series. Briseño's 1 strike away. But the winning run at the plate, the tying run on base, 0-2 pitch, a little away. And it's Andretti Cordero who swipes third base. The Blue Crabs weren't holding him on that closely, and Ryan Haug decided it was not worth the throw down to third base. He had a good jump, and you don't want to risk throwing that ball in the outfield and tying the game on a bad throw from your catcher. Briseño stares down his catcher, Ryan Haug. Count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball, he bounces it. Haug keeps it in front of him. Oh, major play by Ryan Haug to keep that ball in front of him. It prevents the run from scoring. Andretti Cordero points to the plate to recognize that play from Ryan Haug that prevented the run from coming in on the ball that Andres Briseño bounced before the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. It doesn't get much bigger than this for Game 1 of the North Division Championship Series. Robinson takes a couple of practice swings. Runner on third base, 2 outs. 2-1 Blue Crabs. Briseño inbound, all up and in. And the count 3-2. Some high and hard heat from Andres Briseño, and it scares Robinson off the plate maybe a little bit. Whoa. You don't want to come close to the 97-mile-an-hour gas from Briseño. That was maybe a little controlled up and in. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs with a runner on third base. That's the tying run, the winning run at the plate in Robinson. But if Briseño can get the out here, that would win the game for the Blue Crabs. 3-2 pitch, called, strike 3. Trayvon Robinson goes down looking. Andres Briseño, 96 miles an hour on the outside corner, and the Blue Crabs win Game 1 of the North Division Championship Series by a score of 2-1. Andres Briseño, 97-mile-an-hour fuel on the outside corner, gets Trayvon Robinson looking to end the ball game, and the Blue Crabs are winners tonight in Game 1 of the series. It took Darrell Thompson, who went 8 2/3 innings. He allowed just 3 hits. He walked 1. He ended up allowing 1 earned run. He struck out 6 in the process, and the Blue Crabs are winners tonight by a score of 2-1. Andres Briseño threw 7 pitches tonight. He notched a strikeout. The save tonight in the 2-1 victory over the Lancaster Barnstormers tonight. We'll run through the box score briefly. We're going to have to try to get a post-game show on the field, so bear with us here. This is going to be a quick post-game show before we get our on-field interview. Jack Sundberg 1 for 4 with an RBI. Michael Belansky was 1 for 4. Zach Collier 0 for 3 with a walk. David Harris 1 for 4 tonight. He had a double. It was Joe DeLuca who was 1 for 3 with a walk. Santiago Chirino 0 for 4 tonight. Walker 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. Ryan Haug was 3 for 4. He homered, had 2 runs, scored an RBI, and Michael Baca was 2 for 4 tonight. Your pitchers tonight, Andres Briseño got the save, but it was Darrell Thompson. 8 2/3 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. A beautiful performance over 107 pitches from the righty. And it was Andres Briseño who faced 1 batter, got 1 strikeout. Your scoring plays today. In the 5th inning, Ryan Haug homered to left field. Jack Sundberg then added a sacrifice fly in the top of the 9th, and Andretti Cordero doubled down the line and gives the Blue Crabs, or he made it a 2-1 game. The Blue Crabs winners tonight 2-1 on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. We thank you for joining us tonight. It's been a blast as the Blue Crabs come away victorious 2-1. We will sign off tonight. Be back with you tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. for Game 2 of this series between the Blue Crabs and the Barnstormers. We end every broadcast the same way. Let's go Blue Crabs.